I guess I had no sound when I was on earlier. And so y'all could come up with the stream. Super Mike 2164. Sorry for the technical difficulties earlier. And yeah, so what did I want to do is hopefully y'all can hear me now. Leroy, come on back up if you're still on, or you can hear me now, because I had thanks for telling me that we had no sound earlier. I got on the computer this time, so it should be way better. So it should be better. But salute, what's up, big brother? Brother D. What's going on, big brother? Yeah, we want to go. We're going through a little bit of this. We're going to go through some of the about the war. So we're dealing with this here, this knowledge on, what weapons the enemy has against us right now, and this is an open show. So we're going to go through and we're going to read some of Dr. Wesley's book. We're going to have a discussion. I did a show earlier. I didn't have it on Twitch. So you can go on YouTube, Super Mike 2164. I had that one on YouTube and the Science Channel. But this one right here, I'm doing on Twitch too. So thanks for coming in. Thanks for dropping in, big brother. So I want to go through some of this here. Let me go through a little bit of this video file that I want to just set the stage, since I am doing it on Twitch too now. I just want to give y'all a little taste of what we had before, but we're not going to go through that. But this is an open show, so y'all can come in, y'all can hit the link, and we can have a little conversation based on, some of the information. And Leroy, if you still listening, come on back, bro. Oh, hold on a second. It's because I think I had a little technical difficulty a little earlier. So let's see here. We're about to get into this in a second. There we go. But it's a couple things. So this is one of the clips that I had up.
The highest art of warfare is not to fight at all.
Assalamu alaikum, big brother. Walaikum salam, sir.
But to subvert anything of value in the country of your enemy, until such time that the perception of reality of your enemy is screwed up to such an extent that he does not perceive you as an enemy, and that your system, your civilization, and your ambitions look to your enemy as an alternative, if not desirable, then at least feasible. Better red than dead. That's the ultimate purpose, the final stage of subversion, after which you can simply take your enemy without a single shot being fired, if the subversion is successful. This is basically what subversion is.
So that's one of the techniques, one of the points. We went through this show. What's going on? Come on up. We went through this show with the mind control techniques that they touched on. Like I said, guys, y'all could also come. Yeah. Rumble needs a live chat room. Yeah. You on Twitch though, right? You on Twitch, right? But they were trying to kill Castro. These were some of the techniques that they released and told us about in 1979. They named names in this particular special. This guy he interviewed. This was 40 years ago, 44 years ago. CIA. They named names. This is before they got too slick in controlling the media. They had actual reporters who sat up there and actually did some reporter work. And so they exposed some of this stuff. We can't get anything like this on any mainstream right now. But the thing is, it's documented. Yeah. Twitch buffers too, huh? Okay. I didn't know that. But see, so I did go into that. Now, what I want to get into today just a little bit is just showing how this is what's going on here. like we had this guy. Let me show. They showed this here in this particular special about Jose Delgado and his. See, they have two different techniques that they were trying to perfect. They had the they were trying to get the computer chip to control you in your brain. Since that became illegal, they went and got the drugs. They started using the drugs to control you. Let me see if this works. They started using these drugs to control you. But they always have been working on both avenues of biological control to control people. Now that they got the AI, they can download your mind. They can literally download your mind. Oh, it does. Oh, you can't get over here on YouTube, huh? Here's the let me give you the YouTube thing too. You can come on this side, and if you want to, you can subscribe over here, and we can speak on this side as well. I'll give you the YouTube channel. It's basically the same. YouTube channel is basically the same. But let me pop it in there just in case people don't have it. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff on this YouTube channel. I'm going to start transferring a lot more of the stuff that's on the YouTube channel on different streams because, we got to spread it out. Because some of the stuff that we talk about, yeah, so that's the YouTube channel there. And click that too. But this show was just showing their different methods. They were trying to find the various drugs. These were the people responsible for running the show. Actually, I could show this. They'll show the bull here. Let's start it off.
This is the story of a 30-year search by U.S. intelligence agencies to perfect mind control. Some of those engaged in that search have agreed to talk about it for the first time. One said, "I think every last one of us felt sorry to attempt this kind of thing. We knew we were crossing the line." The search would be endless. From brothels, an agent says, we learned a lot about human nature in the bedroom, to the mystical rites of a magical mushroom ceremony.
They just told you too, right there. Yeah, they doubles. Yeah, this was 1979. This was when they revealed this, and this right here. I didn't even put this on Facebook. So y'all guys on Facebook, let me go ahead and post that too. But let me look at it here. Let me post this link too on Facebook. Here we go on Facebook. That's to the YouTube channel on Facebook. And we're going to post, what else we need to post here? We need to post a link. If y'all over on Facebook, you want to come up and, hold on, and just, just have a conversation. Y'all feel free to come up. Other than that, then I will just be reading through some of the material, and we'll just kind of cut it short. So that's it on Facebook and the YouTube situation. So let's keep going because I just want some of y'all to see because I am posted on 2 different new platforms on this. So now check this out.
Ceremony performed by an Indian shaman to a Spanish bull ring. The bull has had electrodes implanted in the brain and is controlled by a scientist.
So they just highlighted that. And now this is modern though. Elon Musk's Neuralink gets FDA approval to launch a human brain chip. So we're showing you the evolution of their agenda. They've been working on this at this point in 1979. They said for 30 years search. But now we know this is 2023. They're more advanced. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, they've been doing they've been doing wicked shit their whole entire 6,600 years. And now you know what's up with that. Now some of our people, we giving them a little milk. See, I'm trying to give them some milk, trying to get a baby some milk here. We gotta get so we're trying to get folks to see that. Yeah. So, but we're blessed to be able to see a lot more than we were able to see, because back in 1979, a lot of people wouldn't believe the stuff that this video is telling them straight up. They thought it was crazy. But this is what's going on. So Dr. Wesley, this brother Dr. Wesley. So we'll go. Let me do a little bit here. We also can talk about, we had a situation with this thing here. I posted this situation on Rashad Ritchie. He's a brother named Rashad Ritchie. He does commentary in Atlanta. He also does commentary on a show called The Young Turks or whatever. And these folks, they there's a situation, that a random normal racist situation that happens in America is not really different. Okay. Yeah. It's not really different. Yeah. There you go. There you go. What's up? Leroy's here.
Yes, sir. What's going on? This the segment to hit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Thanks for telling me about the technical difficulties earlier. Yeah, but let me highlight everybody on basics on this point of the topic. With this Rashad Ritchie thing, me and Leroy, we got a difference here, a little bit of a difference. We got some similarities on this, but then we got some points of difference on this too. So we could talk about those, and everybody could see what they think. But the thing is, on this Rashad Ritchie, the basics of the story, there was another little racist Karen situation. It was out here in New York, and there was a dispute over these little bikes. So this thing, I'm sure these disputes happen all the time, but for some reason, God decided to make this one viral. So yeah, because just that's true. Because come on, man, this kind of stuff happens. Like how much does people argue over little stuff like this?
It happens.
I'm so surprised that this it must be something to this one, because I don't understand why this one decided
it's still going.
Yeah. You know why it became viral though is because it's so simple to me. It's so simple, but they decided to try to dig their heels in. To me,
who you think the Karen or the kids? Which one?
Well, no, the society.
Okay.
Yeah, the society, try to dig their heels in more, and
I can see how you're saying that, because the lawyer was able to, I think he went on Fox, maybe one of them stations.
Okay.
He got some major airtime behind it. Not like 30 minutes or nothing, but if they're willing to bring you on for a segment on TV, that's gonna keep it going.
Right. See, that's
more times than not.
That's that society. So I'm gonna share this screen real quick. And like I said, guys, this is one of them shows that y'all could pop in, and we'll we just gonna have a little conversation about a variety of subjects on this here. But yeah, like this is racism. But to me, these are things that a lot of us are at different levels in this. Well, I would say game, but different levels in this what's called awakening. And I do believe in being woke. I do not want nobody go back to sleep because brother Danubian and everybody else and all the work that we put in to wake people up. We ain't trying to have y'all go back to sleep. We don't care y'all cuss us out. Okay, that's cool. Like, you know how like your baby, your kid, you raise your kids, right? You teach them all this stuff and they turn teenagers and they think they know everything and they be telling you stuff that you was trying to get them to understand a long time ago, but you just like, whatever. Yes, y'all
Yeah.
just letting y'all, some of y'all, I mean, we behind on some stuff, but you know, because it's different people at different levels of, you know, to me, I feel like, you know, this is an experience like we seen all this stuff in the scriptures. You know, we argued about what it meant. And we're living in a point in time where a lot of us are starting to see like, wow, this is that time. This is that
Yes.
period of time. But, you know, a lot of us, some stuff we got right. Some stuff we didn't see it all the way right. So, you know, that's where I'm thinking
Would
that happening here.
would you characterize Rashad Ritchie as woke?
Well, see, he's at a certain level, and I don't think, because you got, like I said before, with this brother here. Now this brother, you know, he was into his little stuff when he was a little younger, his negative stuff. He got put in jail. He decided to try to change his life, right? For something happened to him. He decided to change his life. See, so in his mind, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do something that's better than what I was doing. So relative to where he was, in his mind, you can't tell him nothing, because he knows what he did to change his life. You see what I'm saying? See, that's what I mean. Like, for example, like we might see like with the chick that was talking about she wouldn't date a bus driver, right?
Mm-hmm.
This bus driver, his mama might have been killed when he was 3 years old. His daddy might have been training him to be a pimp and sell drugs. He might have been the best dope dealer ever since he was 13 years old, and then start getting put in jail. And now all of a sudden he somehow got he dodged death 5 or 6 times. He somehow paid off some people that he owed, and now they ain't trying to kill him no more. And he got him a job as a bus driver, and he gonna chill. So, to that brother on that level, from where he came from, that's rich. He's a success. Oh, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but woken and rich and success, they don't all necessarily mean the same thing.
No. That's what I'm saying. And see, what's our definitions is, there's a book definition, so there's a general definition. Okay, and we go to the dictionary for general definitions. But when we actually trying to actually understand things, when we actually trying to understand the behavior, you see, and that's part of this here, this little mind control stuff. These people put in a lot of science to actually understand our behaviors. This is what a lot of us nowadays, we are not seeing. And so what I'm saying is, we got to put some time in to actually understand what's actually happening. Why are the things? We can just trip up and come up with something and guess like, oh, that's happening because they jealous and they boule and you know. Okay, so why aren't you like that? You see what I'm saying? What is it? What is the mechanisms that is hurting people towards this particular direction? And when you start doing that kind of work to actually try to actually understand, and because once they understand this, you have to understand something to control it. You can just throw another human being inside of a car, but if they don't understand the mechanics of the car, they don't know what the hell's going on. Now, once you teach them, okay, this is that, now they have some understanding, they can control it. Now, on higher levels, if they need to fix a problem in the car, they need to be trained in that. You see what I'm saying? So that's the level that, you know, we got to get to be able to match the people who we saying are the bad behaviors. You see what I'm saying? If we don't take
Yeah.
actually calm down a little bit and actually, okay, why are you doing it? Like, try to understand, like, what is this here? Why is this big group? Why does Morehouse and who else? Howard or
Spellman.
why do they train? Why do they what's the program? What are they teaching people that causes them to want to get inside this boule thing and then disconnect from the people that a lot of them been in? So
Yeah. I mean, what disconnect from the people group that you are a part of, but you kind of make yourself not be a part of
right,
by
because
joining this other group.
right.
And,
And so let
and
me
it,
get back to your question, because you know what? I was talking and I didn't specifically answer you straight. But woke, my definition of woke, the definition of woke that black folks have, yeah, Rashad is not, I don't think none of us are all the way woke, but he's probably more woke than he was from his earlier level. But it's not woke enough to be as effective as he could be. Okay. And that's what awareness. Awoke means awareness. So, and it's just a straightforward, are you aware of certain stuff or are you not? That's it. It's not about, how us, are you aware? Period.
Or maybe his and people like him, their wokeness is skewed, for lack of a better term, because it's a little different. I'm not saying the guy not smart. I mean, and we done went over what smart is or how you are labeled smart because you've gotten degrees, and he's done that. But it's like like you mentioned before, it's a disconnect. Somewhere something happened where he thought it was better to take this lane, whereas and people kind of view these situations. Even if we disagree, there are certain things that we view and we see that, okay, we can't we not gonna fall for the okie doke when it comes to this.
Right.
So, but other people, it's like they have no clue of that.
Right. They probably don't have a clue of certain stuff. Right. And what he says, woke means lib turd stuff. Like, let's say, I like awake better. Okay. I like awake better. Okay. Woke is the demo fastest and their alphabet mafia agenda, along with fake climate emergencies and pandemics. Okay. All right, brother. Now the thing is, though, I feel like, and I agree with you there, but see, who came up? They just started trying to take over our word woke. We remember that they did that a year ago, I believe. A couple of years ago, there was a strategy to take over the word, what black people mean woke, because we had our words, we had a little song, Stay Woke, right? All this stuff. Now,
Childish Gambino.
Yeah, now, true enough, it could have been, because the Democrats, to me, the Democrats and Republicans, they work together. They come out there, they pretend like they're arguing, and they go behind those little C Street, little freak houses in Washington, D.C., and they play with each other. And they strategize with each other. So they're good cop, bad cop. They work together. I mean, I don't know why we don't see this. The good cop, bad cop, they come out there, they you get to say this truth and see who you get, and then you say this piece of truth. But we're gonna herd them all here. We're gonna herd them into a situation where both of you losing. You always lose. So obviously these people working together.
They are. They definitely are.
And so, but the thing is, they're so slick, and this is why I'm saying we got to talk about this little mind control thing, because they spent so much money learning how to manipulate large groups of people, which we are. And they've been doing this for a long time. So this is the situation right here, for example. So I'll play the little this little thing again. I don't know why. Like I said, God must have made this viral for some reason. I don't know why this one.
Help me! Please help me! This is not your break. Please help me! This is not your break. This is not your break. Please help me! Help! Please get off! Hey, what the fuck is going on, bro? Yo, don't not take it, bro. Now you're not getting the break, bro. Yeah, now you're not getting the break. Help! You're not getting the break. I'm not. Why you took his phone? What's wrong with you? You're not touching his phone. You're not touching his phone. I'm not touching you. You putting your stomach on my head. No, dude, stop. No, dude, stop. No. I said no. I said sit down. She's just crying. You're not crying. You're not crying. I got you on video. Wait, you pulled it out? Hey, Hassan, you pulled it out? Hassan, you pulled it out? This is my bike. It's on my account. Please move.
All right, so why don't we reset the bike?
I'm not resetting the bike. It's his.
I'm gonna pull it out on your account.
I'm gonna walk. I don't give a fuck. This is my bike. Crying. It's fake crying. Stop fake crying. Hey, stop touching me. I don't touch you.
Hold up.
Hey, stop touching me. Stop touching me.
Why don't we take this bike?
Stop touching me.
I will.
Exactly. So take it. So take it. You're stupid ass. Fuck out of here. Dumbass. Your baby gonna come out with
Wait, how you stop crying?
Not a tear came down, miss. Not a tear came down.
All right, so there you go. You know, that's the viral situation. Everybody in the world, 35 something million, 40 million views. You know, and you know, the white people and the conservatives are talking about how that chick, see, you know, like I said, straight up, to me, I'm gonna stand on the side of them black kids, because to me they was respectful kids.
Whoa, respectful.
One of them let her up and gave her his bike.
Oh yeah, that kid, yeah. But to just say all of them, when one of them just said, "I hope your baby turned out retarded," I can't call him respectful.
Well, not at the end, technically, because he was mad though. But now Leroy, now you got it. Now we're gonna show your receipt, because this is the dude. Let me show the dude that you okay. This is what you posted to us. You know, this guy, I can't take his thing, his little
his angle.
His angle. I can't. I mean, I'm just being fair, man. To me, in my mind, I'm trying to be clear, because I don't. What's up with this? Come on, y'all. What's wrong with y'all? Post up to the Facebook. Facebook is tripping. What are they doing here?
Yeah, I mean, look, in a perfect world, cooler heads should have prevailed. You know, whether she white or not, we talking about a woman. If she really is pregnant, just let go of the bike.
And those conservatives, you know that. You know why I think those kids are conservatives? I'll tell you why. Okay, so let's look at this here.
Because they tethers.
No. They might be tethers. I don't know.
Well, I mean, one of the kids' sister said that they not from America, that they immigrants. So
I already know that.
Yeah, but the sister, she not helping their cause. The things she putting out there.
Well,
you know, she put out information talking about, you know, how far he traveled from one spot to another. Then he docked the bike, and then this the Karen or Christina, whatever her name is, she show up. She trying to get the bike. She supposed to reserved it, but then she ends up pulling it out. It goes back in, and then he takes it out. And the sister said that, well, he rides these bikes all the time. This is the newest one. After 45 minutes, the rate goes up. So I understand why he did it. You want to dock it so you can undock it after that 45 minutes, and then you can still get it at the lower rate. But if somebody shows up and they want to get it, I mean, dude, just let it go. I mean, somebody else want to get it. Great, you want to use that very same bike, but man, just let it go. It ain't even worth all that. Not for real, for real. I mean, and her, saying help and all that. It could have went badly had police showed up and wrestled them guys to the ground and did all that, and then it would have been like, man, this one ain't really worth it. And that's not condoning what the police, because they will overreact. They can overreact, and take things too far. They've proven that, but outside of that, when it comes to her getting an attorney to save her job, with black conservative calling Rashad a race hustler. I watched that video you had earlier today, posted about race hustling and where it started, and now we have people being racial hustlers, and they are that race they're hustling.
Right.
I mean, look at BLM. They done took in tons of money, and I have to say, I do not believe the vast majority of that money came from black people. I believe they came from the founders and the money behind the NAACP.
Now,
I believe it came from that group.
Danubian, now if you're still here, tell me, have you seen that clip before? Have you seen that clip before? We just showed it. I want to know if he's seen it before, because he wrote this here. She trying to steal. Here's the white woman tears. To me, I'm just like, it's just so obvious. But I'm just.
You think she was trying to steal?
Yeah. Now, and this is why I based that on. So I put myself in her shoes first. Okay. Now, there's 4 Negroes or whatever, 5 of them or something. Okay. Oh, here's a bike. This dude, he's standing by these bikes. They all there, surrounding the bike. They standing right there. Now, this is according to the story of the sister, or the mother, I should say, that he told the mother. And we don't know. It's the same thing as the attorney. This is the court of public opinion. But the difference is these people, they posted screenshots. I don't see no screenshots of the attorney anyway. So
he got out there though.
I didn't see it, but okay, maybe okay. I just didn't see it. That's all. It's no.
I mean, what the guy you about to play, conservative, he posted this stuff, and granted, and that there is a element where it shows that the attorney's receipts show not only hers but the kids as well, and it has the time shaded out. And like I said before, the answer to all that is in the metadata. Like when you take a picture, you hit the options and you can see details. It's going to tell you what time, where you took it, what day it was, all that kind of stuff. So it can be narrowed down, and that stuff can be manipulated. If you got that kind of money in the insider track to get it done. But cooler heads just should have prevailed. They should have let it go. I mean, I've been in situations where it wasn't that, but I know it was racist, and it's not a matter. There was something that happened to me in Tennessee that I didn't let go, but I handled it in such a way that the people that were being racist felt so small at the end they couldn't even look me in the eye, because I showed them up in a way where they weren't able to accomplish what their racism wanted to accomplish, and they ended up looking like fools.
Right. And the only thing I'm
And
saying,
so we just gotta be smart in it.
well,
Yeah,
okay,
and I gotta say this, Mike. There is enough things that happen that are that where you don't have to take something like this and try and make it be something that's not. You know what I'm saying? The same way with Justice Smollett, we don't have to fake a hate crime because when you do this type stuff with him faking it and Rashad blowing this up and trying to get the lady fired, you can concentrate on some real stuff and just deal with that.
well, the thing is this: the way people, we're dealing with millions of people, okay, and I try to be, I feel like you want to think about the way we feel like it should be, but we also got to acknowledge the way it actually is and how it's going to actually mathematically very likely play out. And then you got to try to influence it the way it should be, because it takes steps to get to where it should be, because the way it is the way it's going to end up actually playing out. So yeah, true enough, the way it should be, we want to go there, but we're dealing with millions of people. Everybody is not looking at this stuff like we looking at it, but they're going to experience it. True enough, they should have been looking at it, but they're not. It's just the bottom line. They're looking at it on different levels, and they're going to respond different ways. But the point is with this here, the reason why things are racist, this is a very small, little stupid situation. It should not be racist, but guess what? It is racist. And the reason why it is racist is because you have race hustlers. But who is the race hustler? Are the race hustlers the NAACP? We could go.
Yes.
Yeah, we can
Al
go.
Sharpton.
Yeah, that.
Ben Crump.
Well, really, the thing is, okay, yeah, Ben Crump, I can see him as a race hustler, but
And look, and that's not me objecting to the video that you showed earlier or posted on the platform. Black is not a color. That talked about Judy Garland and blackface and how
yeah,
Goldwyn Mayer out in Hollywood and the things they did, that was race hustling too. But it's not really, but it's just when it comes to people in our community using race to hustle, dude, you ain't got to do that.
okay.
And so it's gonna be met to me.
Now hold on, Leroy.
What's up?
How you go? Think about it. Now, when we tell people something, we got to think about their shoes too. They felt like they had to do it. Okay, and you tell them they don't have to do that. To them, they are more successful. They're gonna emulate the man. To them, these are the people who run the society. This is how they made it. I'm gonna follow them. I'm gonna copy them. So you're saying that they don't have to do that? Why should they listen to you? See what I'm saying? That's how I look at it, because that's what they're saying in their mind. What is, see, because on that level, you know how Kanye West got this song, can't nobody tell, well, he said, can't nobody tell me nothing. Did you say something? You can't tell me nothing. Why? Because he got money. This man felt like he got success, he got money, he got his situation, he's well known, he's respected in these upper echelon circles. And here you come on the radio. That was unethical. You should not do it.
and that's why you have to speak to them in a way where you get them to expose themselves.
Okay, well, they expose themselves, but they're puppets anyway. The enemy, the real enemy, they get another one. They got 1 million of them in the works, in the
Oh,
plan. Those two guys.
got one right behind them,
Yeah. So,
ready to fill in.
so that's why I say I don't, to me, that those people, these guys that are in this boule stuff, they're just like a drug dealer or a black person who maybe have been a gang member. Yeah, we can get mad at them. We're going to check them when they're a danger to us, but we have to. In my mind, I look at them. They just trying to get it how they live in their mind because that's what they believe. Just like the brother right here. To me, he talking about race hustler. To me, you're not looking too good either, brother. What's his name? Conservative. What's this guy name?
Black conservative perspective. I don't know his name.
Yeah,
He just go. That's just the name of the channel.
To me, but I want to play this part because I can't go with some of his narrative. But he's gonna say some truth.
Hustlers on social media like Tariq Nasheed went out of their way to dox and harass. And
I give a damn about getting it right.
Oh my goodness!
I apologize.
Why did she say that? Because that bolsters her argument to do what she's attempting to do, which is theft under any other circumstance. We will call this attempted theft if the black male went up to the white female who paid for her opportunity to utilize the device and he decided to grab it and try to take it. We will call that clearly attempted theft.
Several days later. But I want to make it very clear. What we do here is opinion commentary. Sometimes that opinion can be incorrect, but it doesn't mean it was developed nor presented in bad faith. And when there's a moment like this, I can't speak for everybody else, I can speak for me. When there's a moment like this, I will always look into this camera and let you know specifically that I am sorry for getting it wrong because
now, to me,
play the rest. Play the rest because he gives a damn about getting it right.
Okay.
Give a damn about getting it right. And so, ma'am, once again, I apologize.
all right, guys, so I am making a video that I never thought that I would ever make in my life, which is Rashad Richey issuing a groveling apology for his premature race hustling, okay? Because as we've covered on my channel.
Okay, so hold on. Now, this is, okay, so I do agree. Rashad Richey, he punked out way too early. Dude, you don't punk out that. That's not smart. That wasn't smart for him.
It's Mike, it's not, but he jumped the gun way too early too. He should have looked more into the details before you.
No. He got it right first, and he should have stood on that. And I'm gonna show you an example of why. Now, this is the reason why he got it right. It's not because you agree with him or disagree with him, or this black conservative guy agrees or disagrees with him. It's because that's what he believed. You see what I'm saying?
Tell me it's right.
No, it's right for him to say what he believed. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can,
like you said, it's opinion commentary.
Hear me out. See, God don't expect us all to agree or disagree, so there's some of us going to disagree. But if he's scared, sitting back, waiting to say what he believed that stuff in his heart, he's supposed to say it.
And you know what? And that's good because then he shows us his true colors. But continue. I'm sorry.
That's my point. He shows us his true colors. That's him. Now you can get mad at him for being him. He believes that. And guess what? I believe that first stuff that he said, as far as this woman trying to steal that bike, I believe that. And you see, I'm cool with you, and you believe differently. I'm not asking you to change it, but I believe what I believe, because I honestly believe that. Okay, and I have reasons for why I believe it. You have reasons for why you believe it. But my thing is, with today's commentary in this society, is actually based on a warfare that's not our war, really. And this warfare between these white conservatives for their control of their country and these white what they call liberals for control of their little government, they're not gonna, neither one of them gonna give us that. What are we in that for? I don't have no anger. If this man, if let's say you was right, and you, I mean, completely right. Well, because like when I say right, I'm talking about right in the way of factually what I believe is correct on the metadata. Let's say that these kids actually set this girl up, and you know they was trying to steal from her and make her look stupid. And we find that out. Then I'm gonna say, guess what? You know that wasn't right. Then I will apologize on that level, but you know, and that's gonna be that. But it's not gonna be because I'm scared you gonna sue me.
Oh yeah, I feel you on that.
Doing this
if that's what you really believe, then you don't back down.
Do you see what I'm
saying?
saying?
You take it to the mat. Yeah, I mean, I feel that. I definitely feel that.
Doing this on it's a dishonorable reason. He's saying something different because he doesn't believe this stuff. This change that he's making. This ain't his true colors. You see, the first time. Go ahead.
Do you believe he changed his position based on, you know, the phone rang and they called him to the office and said, "Hey man, there's some other information out here, and I'm gonna need you to dress this up, or you're gonna have to find someplace else to work"? Do you think that's a possibility?
Based on fear. He did it based on fear. It was based on fear. I believe this. I really believe that he changed it based on fear, which is a dishonorable reason to change your position. And I'm going to show real quick the other alternative.
Well, we have an update to the story.
So this is Philip Scott. He did the same thing. He stood on the same ground, and when he came out, he was straight up. This woman attempted to steal the bike of this boy. That's what he said. And Phil did not apologize. And I ain't gonna play a whole Phil. Let me play some of Phil's.
Call her the NYC Karen, and we all watched it. The sister of one of the young men, actually the young men in the video.
All right.
No, they put like.
So the sister drops her knowledge, and you know, and we can go through that later. But I really want to get to this part where Phil says his
attorney. Do you know her attorney is an employment attorney, and he was actually hired to help her keep her job. He's not even a civil attorney. He's an employment. But this sister dropped receipt after receipt after receipt. Showed when he got the bike, showed the path, showed what he paid, showed it all. You mean to tell me her lawyer couldn't show all that? More than what he showed? Come on now. So everybody they saw in the video that she tried to steal the bike from the young brother. But also, it goes back to even the Daniel Penny situation. They need wins so bad because you have to understand they're having a ideological crisis right now. They really are. White supremacy, which is a doctrine of demons, the ideology that they carry, is being under heavy attack constantly, like it's never been before. And so what they're trying to do is trying to find any kind of win to help maintain that ideology in that demonic way of being. So we have seen with Sarah Comrie, they gave this woman $123,000 for what? That 123.
Yeah, I'm glad. Now she better not have put that look like almost like a little white supremacy thing. But we gonna say it's not. We gonna say it's
okay.
not.
Hold on, Mike. Okay, so check this out. She got $100,000 and some, right?
Yeah.
Off of this,
probably.
So far.
Yeah.
Let's put that out there. So far, she wasn't filming. She ain't dropped the video. Right. None of that. So who really, whether they meant to or not, who got her paid?
Well,
it was the black. Yeah.
Well, it was Fox News and them too that made it big, but that's fine. We
I
don't.
mean, they did, but I'm just saying
That's
that.
why it's a race hustle, though. The attorney is knowing what angle to play. They know what to do after the money. He's doing the same thing Ben Crump is doing. That's what Ben Crump did.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah,
a race. They're making money.
look, and to that end, any attorney in any position is never gonna put out evidence that's gonna help the opposition. They're not gonna do that. I mean, look, if I hire you as an attorney, you better not do that. You know, you're fired.
But check this out. Help Sarah Connery. What we helping her do with this money? Think about where you giving her the money. Look at what they say to raise this money. This is not help me, repair, not help me keep my job, not help me because, with my bills, because, I was unfairly attacked. I'm pregnant. Help me stop me from being labeled a Karen.
Well, I mean, by her being labeled a Karen, now she has lost. She that may have cost her job, and I don't think barring if it's not illegal activity, if something happens outside of work, and that depends on the level of illegal activity, it shouldn't cost you your job. Just because something went viral, it does happen, but come on, and that goes for us, them, anybody. You shouldn't lose your job because you got into an argument with somebody at the gas station and it go online.
Well, true, but the thing is here, yeah, and I agree, but at the same time, okay, so we know that who's the biggest, who's getting killed in the hospitals the most, regardless of financial backing, or who's dying of childbirth the most? The black.
Oh yeah, I mean they tell us the black woman. Yeah, same black woman 100 years ago that could have 15 children at home and she's still around, no problem.
Right. So now they're doing a lot of stuff at these hospitals. These hospitals don't want people looking into their business because they know they're racist. We don't need you looking into our business. There's a picture of these nurses and stuff throwing up these white power symbols. I don't know if you noticed that, and that little symbol looked very near that. If she would have put that one other finger up, it'd have been a W. So the way she
talking about the OK symbol.
Well, yeah, we call it the OK, but they've changed it. You see what I'm saying? That's how they relabel and rebrand stuff. I don't know why she felt like putting the thumb and the finger together like a little P, but whatever. Maybe she just did it by mistake. We're not reading too much into stuff. But the point is, who wants this type of person? She was very unreasonable. I mean, you just see the way she was behaving with those kids, with those boys. They looked to me, they was kids. I call them kids. But come on, man. You don't want that type of person working on you. You trying to explain something to her, or working on your family, your loved one.
Yeah. I mean, I feel.
And see, that's what I did. I took it upon myself. I said, okay, let me walk in her shoes. Okay, I'm gonna go with from the position that let's say I was her. Okay. Now, this is the question I had to ask myself. Was I on the bike first, or were the boys on the bike first? That's what you got to ask yourself. Was Sarah on that bike first? Was she on the bike? Okay. Or were those boys there in that area first? Who was there first? Who walked up into the area second? Now, I think from all accounts, she walked into that area with those boys. She walked into that area. Okay, so she wanted to get now. Okay, so I'm her. Can I use this bike? No, ma'am. I'm using this bike. This is my bike. Or let's say he said, no, B, I don't want this bike. I'm pregnant. Come on, I'm pregnant. Now, why are you trying to? I'm pregnant. Let me get that bike. What is she gonna say? What is she saying to them? And like you said, who started recording? Something must have been said, and they was like, "Oh, we gonna about to record this." And she didn't disappoint, and she went into whatever she went into. So she came to them, and so that's all I'm saying. And now, okay, so she came up to them, either asking for the bike. I don't know. How would she get her? Somehow she scanned it and whatever. She got she put her name on there for like a minute or 2 minutes or something. But anyway, the point is she came up to them. Now, if I'm from their perspective, let's say if I'm them, I'm on the bike already. I got the bike. I already know where I got to go. And keep in mind, I done rode those bikes around these little cities. You do need those bikes. And so I'm sitting on this bike, and here this chick, she asks, according to this other little story, she asks these other people, do you want to be on this or whatever? And they were like, no, because they know where they got to go. And I guess the last guy was like, no. And maybe she felt some kind of way because she felt like one of them need to give this up because how all of them, because they obviously look like they together. And maybe she felt like she just need one of these bikes. She don't want to go nowhere else. So, she decided to.
I mean, from what the sister said, the bike was, one of the newer ones. So, I mean, I haven't ridden them. So I'm thinking from how she described it, it seemed as if this one, you might not have to pedal as much. This more electric. You have that option. And, being pregnant, of course, she would want to use that one. If she's actually pregnant.
We haven't verified that. I don't know if she's pregnant or not. That's another reason why the hospital might have fired her. Because they know she probably lied.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. And that's why I said, that's if she's pregnant. And if she's pregnant, then, of course, she would want to take the bike that's going to be the easier ride. But is it? And I get them sitting on the bike. Like I said, the sister said that he rode it there and it was getting close to that 45-minute threshold where the rates go up. So if you redock it and, wait 5 minutes or 3 or whatever and pull it back out, you scan it again and you undock it and there's yours again, then you back in that 45-minute window.
Right.
So you're not paying that high rate.
And they're
but if somebody
now, come on, now, I know your scenario. Now keep this in mind. Pretend you them. Now you pretend you her, or pretend you them. Which if you them, you sitting on this bike, and you got to go all the way back home. And then somebody. Because you're sitting on the bike. When I get off that, so I go downtown sometimes to little San Francisco, and they got these little bikes down there. When I get off that train, if a person sitting on that bike, even if it's docked, I'm not gonna be like, hey man, can you get off of this thing?
Yeah. And most people, I wouldn't either. Most people wouldn't. Most people wouldn't say, yeah, let me see if they really using it. But I mean, she just got off of work.
Well, that's different. Now, I would do that sometimes. Now, hold on. Let me clarify that because I have done that. Sometimes people just be hanging around the bikes, and I'm like, hey, you using that bike? Oh yeah, I'm using that. If they say they're using it,
then that's it. Yeah, move on.
Guess why? Because guess why? There's so many other bike things near. There are other bike stuff, little sections of that near them. And so, that's what I'm on. Now, you know, so you go ahead. Now you saying that if she's pregnant and you're her, what's your thinking?
Well, if she just got off of work, I can see asking and, just trying to see, well, maybe they just sitting on it and they ain't really using it. Maybe I can get this one because it's going to be an easier ride home for me, then I can, get that bike versus the one where it might be, I might have to do more pedaling. And I don't really want to do that, and I mean, cool. And there has been, some speculation that she might have reserved, and I don't know. You can answer this better than I can because you actually ridden them. When they dock, are they docked like, and each docking station has a number 1 through 10, and you reserve the one that's like when you go pick up food. If you park in this space, you text them and you let them know, well, I'm in parking space number 8. Is it like that when you dock the bike?
Okay, so it's like this. Yeah, it's kind of like that. But look, if she has that's not true. It can't be true, because if you reserve one of those bikes, right? When you go to those stations to get it, okay, there's like 8 bikes or whatever sitting on there. But there are some of them that have green on them, some of them have red on them. You cannot get the red bikes.
Okay.
Because they're reserved. They're already there. See what I'm saying? Now, if that bike, let's say if she had reserved that bike, right? And let's say he was there. And let's say the bike little app had like programmed and timed it like, oh, this bike is supposed to come into our little docking station at this particular time, and this will be reserved for this girl or this person. Okay, so he docked his thing at the right particular time. It would have locked his bike. He would not have been able to get it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, he wouldn't have, but remember what happened? She scanned it, and that receipt shows there's no ride time for her. And then it's docked again, and then he gets it.
Right. Because but the thing is, he would have seen it turn red right away. He was like, dang, I can't even get. So she wouldn't even had to ask him for the bike. He would not have been able to get it. He would not have been able to use it. You see what I'm saying?
So she could have just waited him out.
Just waited him because he would have seen like, dang, I can't even get this bike no more. Dang, this mug just turned red. I can't even use this bike. Nobody else can use that bike once it's reserved. It's locked in there. So, I mean, and this, like I said, these are a little stupid to me. And I know a lot of people probably listening like, man, this is like so low level. But guess what?
And it is.
But guess why this is not low level? And I because I thought about this stuff too. These are little normal situations, but they create these big racial responses because people dig their heels in. People who should have better things to do. But it's like, but guess what? It's like it's the same thing as these two kids, those women. This two situations, it's like, dude, I'm not letting her get her way just because she's just a little young white woman. And then, let's say they elevated up to the attorney, and then the people, in the media, like, no, we can't let. Because and Phil called it out right. See, that's the reason why that Phil didn't apologize, because he understands what it's about. See, when Rashad apologized, that gave them a win. And Phil was like, they've been sending me letters to apologize. I didn't get to that part where he actually said that, because I don't know exactly where it's at, because that's all I wanted to hear really on his. But he basically says like they were sending him letters where they want him to apologize, but he ain't gonna apologize for them because he know why they want him to apologize. It's not because it's a Democrat or Republican thing, because he's on that same situation. This is a situation where he feels like it's a situation where we're training them on how to treat us. You don't just look at us like somebody. Oh, that's a black person. I could just take that from them. They're just black. They're not going to put up too much. So,
yeah. I mean, it's you have to be smart enough to know how to handle it. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Because the situation, you go into more detail, what happened to me in Tennessee, I went there to do a job. I had to remove a kiosk. Inside of the kiosk was a touchscreen TV. I've done the job before, not at that location, but at others, where there was no TV. So, I called the people that sent me, and I let them know where it's actually a TV here. And they said, well, either take it out if you can, but if you can't, we're here to get rid of the kiosk, and the area you remove it from, you have to patch the holes and paint it. You had to go get the paint match at Home Depot, and then, come back to the site and complete the job. Well, it turned out I had the tools, so I was able to remove the TV. So I removed the TV, the mouse, keyboard, the little computer, the surge protector, and I set it all by my tools. And then right by the wall where I removed the kiosk. I put the kiosk by the door. I called Got Junk. And then I left to go get the paint. When I get back to the site, as soon as I walk up, I see the kiosk is gone. When I walk in the store, I see the TV is gone. But what is still there? The surge protector, the keyboard, the mouse, and the little computer. And there's three white people, the same three white people that were working there before I left. I said, well, where's the TV? They said, oh, we Got Junk took it. And I said to them this. I said, so they came in and they got the TV and they went past. They came in and they got the kiosk and they went past the counter. They come in the door, get the kiosk, then go and walk all the way over here and say, does that TV go? And I'm supposed to believe that, and they left all this other stuff, and they just looked at me crazy. And then I got on the phone and talked to Got Junk. It took some talking to them, but I let them know you're bring that back. That was not supposed to leave. There was some pushback from them. Say that again.
They really did take it?
Oh yeah, they really did take it. And Got Junk said that, well, we don't bring stuff back.
What?
Yeah, that's what they said. But I kept talking to him, and guess what? Then here comes the manager who I was just talking to. He's on the phone, and he's saying, I'm talking to Got Junk too. And they're saying that, well, it's scratched. Do you still want it? And I told him, man, I've already talked to them. They're on the way back. But whoever you're talking to, tell them the same thing. Yeah, I want it. They brought it back. Right. Now, I go inside. I continue the job. I look up after a little while, and I look over at the counter, and I see the TV on the counter. Now, those three white people did not say anything to let me know that the TV was there. So I went and grabbed it, plugged it up, it came on, and then I walked it outside and put it in my truck and locked my truck.
Right.
Yeah, but I strongly believe that one of those three white individuals pointed the TV out because they felt like I shouldn't have it.
Mm.
Yeah, and you can. I have no problem with anybody wanting to label that racism because there's no way you come into a store to get what you would describe to pick up, and then you go out of your way to say, well, does that TV go? You don't even know that it's a part of that kiosk. There's no way you can know. Yeah, you see the shape of the kiosk where that TV might fit, but there's no guarantee of that. And the people who sent me to do the job, I called and double verified with them. They said the people who sent us to do the job, they don't care. They want it gone. Whether you keep the TV or not, they don't care.
Right.
And so I really, really honestly feel like they felt like, well, he shouldn't have that. Well, I proved them wrong in the end.
Mm-hmm. Keep going. Yeah.
But I didn't have to curse them out. I didn't have to change my voice. I just handled it very professional and got what I wanted out of the situation. And I know though one of those three was really mad because they thought they could just exercise their white privilege, if you want to call it that, and say, oh, well, I can make sure that he's not going to have it. If I can't have it, he definitely shouldn't have that. Who is he? Okay, well, I'm going to show you who I am.
Right.
And show you that just because I look like this, don't take that to mean that you're going to be able to just do what you think you can because you look like that.
So let me ask you this here. What is this? I mean, the thing is, what is the pathway? Okay, it's not something that can happen right away. Okay, but what is the pathway where we stop this stuff from happening? You know, there is a method of ending this racism stuff. Okay, we got enough problems on this planet that we don't have racism to stop us from dealing with some real deep problems in the human spirit and creating some solutions for that stuff to advance the whole planet. So, but with this racism thing, it is creating this it's just creating stupidity because
it's
like, but the thing is, I'm gonna play something here. This is go ahead. What's your thoughts? Go ahead.
I mean, I was going to say, what I tell my children is this: if you run into someone that's being racist to you, whatever the situation is, understand that it's not something wrong with you. It's something wrong with them because they have this perception of you based on what they see. They don't know you. So anyone that's being racist, they have a problem. And I don't care what color they are. They have a problem. When you want to deal with someone based on what they look like and it's different from you, it's definitely if you want to call it mental health issues, it's definitely something going on upstairs that's not connected. But what we can't do is take situations that aren't that and blow them up. And I'm not saying this solely on Richie, but if you notice, the attorney isn't going after the young kids or teens or whatever they are. He's not going after them. He's going after the people who are broadcasting this stuff and labeling her. Well, that's something they brought on themselves. And you know, when it comes to Rashad, I mean, I have talked to you and let you know that him and I have had conversations on his radio show. And dude, he is, every time I have called in, I have checked. Yes or no. It's not easy as yes or no.
Right.
But oh no, this is yes, sir. But
yeah, that's
with him, he a few weeks ago, he made a statement where he said that straight people molest children.
The more than
and
say the whole thing, he said straight people molest them more than what?
No, he just said straight people molest the most children. That's what he said. Straight people molest the most children.
Why did he say that? Because what was said before that a little bit?
He was speaking with another caller, and I had just turned it on. So I'm like coming into this conversation. It's like, how do you get to that conclusion? And so, I called in because there have been other conversations that didn't go well for him. He didn't come to the phone, but I called the next day and he did. And I asked him, I said, well, if a married man sleeps with a man that's, not his wife, is that person straight? Real quick, he said, no, that person is not straight, brother. And I said, then why yesterday did you call them? Did you say Republicans or conservatives? No, you said straight people molest the most children. By definition, that person isn't straight. They're not. I don't care. There's no way you can fashion that to make a child molester to be straight. And I said that, pedophiles aren't straight. and neither are homosexuals. And he said, well, basically I'm trying to make homosexuals out to be child molesters. And I said I never said that. I just said that neither one of them are straight.
Hold up. Real quick. I got it. Since you said that he said that. Well, like I told you before, well, it was him that was trying to make straight people into child molesters.
Yes. Yes. So it's like, dude, I mean, that don't even fit. It's oxymoronic.
Okay, yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so he did everything he could in talking over me in order for people not to hear over the air me saying that pedophiles aren't straight and homosexuals aren't straight. He went so far as to say that, that's just my narrative of negativity. And I told him, and he said that it's fine that you disagree. You can disagree. I said that, yeah, it's not about disagreement. It's about dealing with facts. And I said something you have a problem with. And look, if you don't hear someone, you can ask them to repeat themselves. And he asked me to repeat myself, but he doesn't do that because he didn't hear you. He does that to act as if he's exerting some sort of power over you. And in my best fatherly voice, I told him, you heard me the first time, just like that. And he said that, well, what did you say? And by now I'm laughing and I'm hanging up the phone. And he said that, oh, you're a silly ass Negro. And he said, what facts do I have a problem with? Oh, you running. So that lets you know that he heard me, because he said, well, what facts do I have a problem with? Really, I should have stayed on the phone and went down the list. But I didn't. But he heard me. So, and that's the type person he is. I could tell you many other conversations we had where they haven't gone well, because that's why I said there was a point where he decided to make this other turn, and me, even though we disagree, it's some things that we see clearly eye to eye that, and everyone's not going to agree, but there are some things that just aren't negotiable, like straight people molesting children. That does not fit. That doesn't fit.
Right.
There's no way to make that fit.
Yeah.
And then when I see this shortly thereafter, him issuing his groveling apology.
Give me an update now.
This is fitting for him to have to deal with because of how he exhibits himself on his own show. I mean, he hasn't been to work all week. He's been on TYT all week, but he hasn't been here.
Well, look at this though. But since you brought it there, it was just funny that he updated it, because when he issued his little apology, which I say you said the way you really feel the first time. Stand on it. But
stand on your square.
He got scared because he don't want to go back to jail. That's what I was trying to tell you. He was terrified.
I'm gonna lose everything.
They got something on him. See, this is what I'm saying. You can't. Fear destroys people and makes a good person can be unrespected, and you don't understand why they acting like that. It's because they're terrified of something. They're terrified of something. So they got something on Rashad Richey that he's terrified of. And that's why.
Okay, but those things in his past, the most recent incident, they covered up for him. Police didn't even arrest him.
Look, you went by that too quick. If somebody is terrified of something, ain't no okay, but no, ain't no okay, but they're terrified. It doesn't have to make sense to you. It doesn't have to make sense to us. He's terrified. Now, that's it. Whatever it is. This man is terrified. So, somebody must have threatened that, and he responded to that because he retracted that crap quick. And when, for his own integrity, when he wanted to fix it because the receipts came back in favor of his original point. Now you don't agree with that, but
no, I don't.
He would stand on it. The receipts
But he won't. But
no,
even in that, he won't.
He did.
Think about it like that. When
he did.
What the young lady you just showed, that's the guy with the other channel. He labeled her as Rashad Richie's stunt double, and she used to work here locally on Channel 46. She is a female mirror image. Her. Okay. Sharon Reed. That's her name.
Yeah, that's fine. But he, on his show with his name on it, he have her go ahead and update it because the receipts came back to his original favor. I mean, he would have stood on that.
Well,
okay.
that's still TYT right there.
No, that's Rashad Richie show right there. Indisputable. Yeah. Rashad Richie. I know the TYT is on all of the shows. The TYT is on everything. But this
that's under the TYT umbrella.
Yeah, but this section of this TYT is him. This is him, and this is his partner. He works with her closely. He trusts her to do his show. She's speaking his words, but because he knows, everybody said, "Dude, you're a wimp." But because he said, now you got to realize this, Leroy. There's a whole side of people that agree with his position. Now, just because somebody agrees with your particular position, that don't mean they like you. It's just like y'all two just happen to have the same position on this. So
yeah, and look, and it also doesn't necessarily mean that person is right, just because other people agree with you.
No, to them, he's right. Okay, so when we talking about right, now, when we talk about right, of course, now you got to think about this here. When you disagree with somebody, of course they're wrong to you, but to themselves, that's why they're standing out there arguing that position. They really believe that they're right. Everyone thinks that they are doing what they're doing for some reason that is right to them. Okay, they've justified whatever is position in their head. Even if they say, I need to lie because I have to protect this. I need to lie or steal because I have to protect that.
Okay, Mike. What about when you're shown that you're wrong? When you're shown that you're wrong. And I'm not even talking about, what I just mentioned.
You have to believe you are wrong. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is what I mean. Okay, listen to what I mean. In that person's brain, in every human being's mind, okay, based on our experiences, based on whatever our life, positions that we are taking, things that we are doing, in our head, somehow, we have justified our behavior. Okay, in that person's mind, their actions are right. That's why they keep doing it. That's why they explain what they're doing. That's why they stand on what they're doing. Even if they lie, like a person could go into a store and steal, and stealing is wrong because you don't want nobody to steal from you. But you go down and say, "Why did you steal from the store?" "I was hungry." See, now stealing is wrong, but I don't want to starve. Starving is wrong too.
Yeah.
So in their mind, they have justified. That's all I'm saying about right and wrong. So in his mind, it takes a lot of stuff to happen for an individual to be shown that they're wrong. The people don't change their behaviors of right and wrong from their head and from analytical stuff. It's something that happens to them and it changes their heart. Once their heart changes, then their behavior will change. So you can talk all you want to tell somebody that they're wrong or this is not correct and all that kind of stuff. You know, the thing is, if their heart don't change, they still gonna come up with some kind of way to believe that same thing. It don't matter what you know what I mean? I'm just telling you, and I'll leave this before I let you say something, because you keep in mind Jesus was on the planet before. He was talking to people. Some of them didn't believe him and they argued with him. So this is just
silly rabbits.
Well, I'm just saying, it's not just. So you got to realize that even God sent people to Sodom and Gomorrah and try to teach them, hey, this is actually wrong what you're doing. Okay, but we gonna still do it. Send that angel.
I love who I love.
See?
Why he make me like this if this ain't right?
See? So that's what justification. So in their mind, they are right. Now, the only way that they will be wrong, you have to prove to their heart that they're wrong. And usually that takes some sort of traumatic thing to happen, or it takes an overwhelming sort of intervention. That's why, like a lot of times, to get people off drugs, they got to go through this whole thing, this intervention. Right? All the family members got to fly in and make this big thing and take them. Come to the clinic, please. We want you around. You go and have the kids. It's crying on them and stuff. Okay, I'll go. You know, that's what it takes. That's the energy that ideas take. That's what they studied in this mind control thing.
It could, if you consider.
This is what they've done. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They implant ideas to people, and that's why I said we got to study this stuff, because it's a big science on how how they study behavior. But yeah, what were you gonna
now for the listener audience out there, Mike and I don't, we might have a general idea what the topic is, but we don't sit down and hash out and plan what each other's gonna say or how we're gonna come at this. And the reason I left put that preface out there is because you mentioned Sodom and Gomorrah, correct? Right. And that came with no provocation from me at all. Right. So I'm gonna show you instance when a person is clearly wrong and they are shown they're wrong and they still reject correct. Ezekiel 16:49. We're just gonna do two verses. The first verse 49. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom, pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy. The very same person that we're speaking of, Rashard Ritchie, said one day on his show that the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah for a lack of kindness and not showing hospitality to the stranger. And this is the verse that he used. So, I'm not gonna sit here and say to you that I hear from God and it's this voice, but you get an unction. And I got a strong unction to look at what he said, what the verse he used, and he had me read the next verse. Verse 50. And they were haughty and committed abomination before me, therefore I took them away as I saw good. And I told Rashard, once I finished with verse 50, I told him, verse 50 refutes everything you say. So either the cemetery school that you went to, because it's not a seminary school, either the Bibles they gave you ended at, he said he's a preacher. I don't think he has a doctorate in divinity, but he said that he's a preacher. And I said either the Bibles they gave y'all ended at Ezekiel 16:49, or they didn't allow y'all to read verse 16:50 because it refutes everything you say. And he has yet to accept that correction, because from what I stated earlier, he still defends that by saying straight people molest the most children, Well, they aren't straight.
Why do you think that he won't accept it? Why wouldn't he just agree?
You're asking for a lot of speculation on this. I mean, I could say, maybe he might have a family member that's in there, so he has conflicted feelings. He could be a participant.
I got family members that's
so do I. So do I. But I'm not changing my position.
Well, I mean, that don't mean I hate them or nothing like that. It's like to me that's just a behavior, and that's up to God to what He wants to do.
Would you? I mean, this is a personal question. If you don't want to answer, I'll answer it first. I'm not. I give you my answer first before I ask you the question. I'm not doing it. So here's the question: would you leave your children around them?
Well, some of them, yeah. There's some children, of them there, because that's not. They wouldn't. I mean, I already have some of them. But that because those are not because I know them. And I know them, and they've grown up. I've grown up with them, and I know them day in and day out, and I know them. They've already, grew up with my children and with us and with me before my children was even born, and so I do know them. So those are some.
Yeah, and in my case, I have allowed my children around these individuals. But those individuals are
they don't talk to my kids about that stuff because they know what's up. My kids probably won't even know that they're like that.
So my children and my nieces, because that's who they are, from the same sister. So it's not like one sister had a child, another sister had a child. No, this same sister. I have two nieces who have decided to go that way. Note for everyone out there, I said decided because it's definitely a decision because there are people who decide not to live that way anymore.
Right.
So my children have been around them. I don't keep them from them because those are their first cousins, but I also have laid the groundwork to let them know very early on before any of this was revealed about these children. I mean, my nieces, because they weren't old, they were still children, and then come into their quote selves until teenage years and early 20s.
That's a kind of similar thing. I got a nephew, and then I got a cousin, and then I guess my sister-in-law. But these people, we grew up with them, but the thing is, it was interesting that, the boys, this, hanging out with people as adults though, but also growing up, that's because they grew up in that, where the environment of that, what we call the liberal stuff, this woke liberal tard stuff. Woke
was accepted.
Like Brother Danubian said, the lib turd stuff.
They're
not awake, they're woke. So the brother said we need to use the word awake, not woke. But I'm using woke because that's our word. I ain't gonna let them just steal it. Whatever. It's the way we meant it. But the point is, and so, but there are some family members. No, I'm not leaving my kids nowhere around them. Because I know that I know them. But like I said, these people that I know is this way. Like my kids, they'll probably, if I told them who this was, they'd be like, "Oh, really?" They don't know.
Well, my children know because my nieces decided to share that with them.
Right.
The oldest niece didn't share it in a way where she said it. She just started appearing with this person.
Right.
And, you announced it by your actions. And I mean, they already know from just the conversations I've had with them and not going in depth, but, just being uncle and saying stuff like, when did guys start wearing y'all jeans? Why are they carrying purses? So if you know I'm not with that, you fully understand I'm not with the other.
Right.
But that's their life, that's their decision, and they can decide that. But that doesn't mean I have to participate in it. That's your stuff. That's not my stuff.
Right. Hey, let's get into a little bit of this because I want to touch on some of this to add a little bit to this part of the show. I just want to go through some of these experiments that we discovered in this book here. Just to put this out there in the ether. So back in let's look at this here. I just want to get some of this out here. Let me see something. All right, so there's a thing. Okay, so you know how, and that's why I said like the science. We got to start getting into the science because we can't even understand what the hell's going on without knowing something about science. And these are the subjects that a lot of us, find it seem like it's difficult for Black folks. They try to make it very tough, but science and math. But so back in the 65, you got a British scientist. They were doing chromosome analysis. And keep in mind, this mind control thing, they were checking into everything about human beings to see how that they can come up with a truth serum, ways that they can control the mind, how to control humans. All right. So in their analysis in this hospital, this is a mental hospital. They had 197 criminals whose blood was tested. 7 had unique genetic. Out of 197, 7 had this genetic condition instead of the normal male chromosome signature XY for the female versus the female XX. These men were XYY. So they had an extra chromosome Y chromosome, which is a sex changing chromosome. And I just pulled this up so we can see it, that there are some people that have, because normally every human being has 46 chromosomes, 23 from your father, 23 from your mother. Sometimes your father may give you the Y chromosome. If the father gives you the Y chromosome, simplest put, you will be born a male. Sometimes your father might give you an X chromosome, and of course your mama's going to always give you an X chromosome, and then you will be born a female. Now, there are some unique cases. There are a case where a father can give you a X chromosome, but it has Y, a region on that X chromosome that's a sex determining region on your Y chromosome. There's a sex determining region of it.
Mm-hmm.
And some fathers can give an X chromosome, and rarely it seems to have this sex determining region on it that's male. That person will have DNA that shows up XX, but they are male. They're actual male. They're born with a penis. Everything is coded male. And the only way it's found out is just because blood analysis. And wow, you got 2 X chromosomes, but you're a man. Okay, that's because it's a region on that chromosome that is a sex determining region. So it's not just a Y chromosome itself, it's a region on that chromosome. If it appears, then you will become a male. Okay, and that's just right.
Well,
so
if you don't have the blood test, and get the breakdown of that, then you have to go by what you see. I mean, that's how I'm trying to be sensitive here, because the statements you made earlier, which were completely and wholly accurate, that either you're born a male or you're born a female, that now in today's time could be characterized as some kind of phobia. I'm not agreeing with that. I'm just saying that that's what happens. And, there is a situation like you stated where it may not be that once you draw blood and you go into a deeper analysis. But now, one of the things I had mentioned to Rashad was that, that's the problem with identity politics, because we're going into areas where people are now choosing to identify a certain way. Now, I can identify as a millionaire, but my bank account doesn't say that. So more or less, we need to deal with reality, and
Right.
it's a lot of that is not happening now in 2023.
And that's why science is important, because see, the thing is, it doesn't matter what the analysis of people say when they're looking at, see, these genes, when you look under a microscope, this stuff shows up looking just like this. This picture right here, if you look at the cell as they divide and split, that is what you will see, something that looks just like this. Now, it's kind of mixed up, but basically it's in this order. It doesn't have the 1, 2, 3, of course, on those numbers under it. It just has these shapes. These are how chromosomes look. The top half, you see how it's kind of divided in the middle of it, divided like the middle. That's part of that's from your mother, part of that's from your father. This little region, that's not the sex hormones, which is the last section, and it's just like that. The last section is the sex determining hormone chromosome region. The top part is given by, part of it is all these other parts is called the basically they call them, it's basically mixed up. They have a certain word for it, but the bottom line is I forgot what the word is. But it's recombinant. It's called recombinant part. But this little part with the X and the Y, or the X and X, the sex region, that's just what they call the sex hormones, because we already know the only place that this Y chromosome comes from is the father. So that's what they use in DNA tests and all these analysis and all that kind of stuff, because it's easy to see. But the thing is, the point is this. Some people, this is science though, guys. And, the way they say trust science, they act like people can't understand science. But if you start looking at it, and if they just explain it straight, anybody can understand this stuff. If you just talk straight words, if I stop calling stuff recombinant DNA, and then, alleles, and then we need, eukaryotic cells, and, all that kind of stuff, and nuclear, genomes, and nuclear DNA, and max, all that kind of crap. And it's like, people are like, what? It's like they create a whole nother language just to say the same stuff.
Yeah, because they won't define it. They'll use those words and won't define it. That way they keep you in the dark.
Yeah, and then if you study that stuff, you got to study a whole new language. Basically, you got to learn a new language to learn this stuff. So that's why people just say, I just trust science. I don't want to worry about it. Trust them. Okay.
But even in that, you can have really good common sense and discernment, of course, and you can realize when, okay, that doesn't add up. And that's why me, and 70% of Black people said no to the you-know-what.
Exactly.
Because even if we didn't understand what all those words Dr. Kizzy said meant, we understood what Dr. Christina Park said. We know what we don't know, and we know we don't trust our government.
Exactly. And now a lot of Black folks have been getting into the science, and we do know stuff. And a lot of times they think we look ratchet and everything, but we understand this stuff. This stuff is not hard to understand. It's just it's not really hard to understand at all if it's just explained decently. Okay, so the bottom line is most people only have, XY or XX, but they found that some people have this XYY. Okay, so just wanted to show that. We're not going to get all into that because I want to go back to this is what they found. And now, so when we go back to the research that they're dealing with the boy, the super predator study. Now we should realize that this super predator thing, we remember that from what, Hillary Clinton, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So
the Hildebeest.
Right. The Hildebeest. So it's just showing how, okay, they found this. They found out of the 60s. Now all these are criminals. The bottom line, they found this extra Y chromosome. And it's interesting that Jacobs found it anyway. And they assumed, now this is science. They do a lot of assumption in science, but because they got a degree, you think they're so smart, it must be right. They assume that because they have the extra Y chromosome, then that extra Y chromosome was a direct connection between the genetic signature and the imprisonment of these XYY males, and therefore they claim that XYY males have dangerous, violent, and criminal propensities. This is before they tested the general public.
So they're saying based on your DNA, you're predisposed to becoming a criminal.
Exactly. So this is where they were going with this here. See, they weaponizing this science against the boys. So they basically say, oh, okay, we can play this in a way where we can find out who's going to be the criminals before they really grow up. And we can put them in jail before they even,
commit crimes. Let's get ahead of the game.
And enslave them, right? So that's kind of how that was. So, let me see. Yeah.
And see, and that's the danger with science. The word says falsely so called, because I mean, it's obvious that they're, and I can say this without even seeing the blood or the DNA, that there are some people who have that YYX who aren't criminals. And the reason I can say that is because you remember what happened at the Pulse Club in Orlando.
Okay, yeah, they shot up the 50 people.
Yeah, it was a gay club that was shot up, and some people died, some people got injured. But out of those people that survived, who were living that lifestyle, because of that event, they have come to a biblical understanding that that's not how they should live, and have walked away from that lifestyle. So science may say this, but when you have these people who make decisions to no longer be that way, then that takes that bit of science and puts it in the trash.
And science
puts it in the trash. Go ahead.
See, science. See, I hate the way they did that. Science don't say nothing. Science doesn't say anything. Remember who said that they were science?
A liar. Named Dr. Fauci.
Exactly.
He said he was synonymous with science. You can't, if you come against science, you're coming against him, and vice versa, which is ludicrous.
Right. So the point is, they made this. So they made this this XYY. I just want to play this little super predator thing, right? So after this, let's go back to here. So at the bottom of this page, you see, thus was born the myth of the genetic super predator. This was 1965. A male characterized by abnormal aggression and sexual pathology. The extra Y chromosome was claimed at the time to turn normal males, XY, into hyper-aggressive, hypersexual monsters. By the 1968, a typical XYY profile was already worked out. They said they got the, big stature, long limbs, long arm span, facial acne. They done came out with how you look. How somebody
okay. Hold on, Mike. Let me ask you a question. Right. So Okay, it almost I think it's safe to say that they are describing possibly a serial killer, right?
That's what they
And,
wanted. They wanted to be. Yeah.
oh, okay. So if that's the case, I would love for science to explain to me Ted Bundy, because from accounts, he wasn't an ugly guy, he wasn't a tall guy, but yet he was doing exactly to a T what you have just defined. You know, he was hypersexualized and violent. You know, he was a serial killer, but he wasn't, he didn't have abnormally long limbs and facial acne. And so science, where are you? why why did he why was he a strapping young man that engaged in killing women versus scoring?
Right.
That's locker room talk for
Kinda
people out there.
This particular page kind of answers some of your question, because it was saying how, if you look at it a little lower, it said the lower intelligence made them easier catches by the police, because I think they were a little retarded. You know.
Okay, but with Bundy, he went on for years.
Hold on. Let me finish this, because let's
Okay.
answer some of that question. So it says the lower intelligence made them easier catches by the police, and thus their relatively high presence in the penal institutions. But XYY males in prison tended to be less violent than control groups. Okay, so they actually, when they started doing some real scientific methods, they found that these guys were actually less violent than regular people. XYY males, it turns out, are fairly prevalent in society, 1 in every 1,000 births, and most exhibit no signs of a predilection towards criminality or aggression. Studies show, obviously, the difference in testosterone levels, as Laura Ray and Burkhoff summarized. So basically, it answered your question. They found out that that was full of crap. But at that point in time, right. You started answering it full right away just by questioning them. But you see,
I mean,
but people don't
from what you just read,
science.
From what you just read, they completely reversed their initial conclusion.
Well, you got to realize that this is different people. You see, so what this guy here is doing, he showed you where they came up with it, right? This is the people who found it. Patricia Jacobs. Jacobs found it, and she assumed a direct connection between this genetic signature. Okay, now you got to realize people start questioning. Okay, then the claims proved erroneous. You see what I'm saying? Over time, they start realizing, others start trying to do what you did, which is question, which is what we should always do to science. You start questioning it, and then so now when they start really looking at in society, 1 in every 1,000 births, people end up having this XYY. You don't even know that people have it. It turns out it says fairly prevalent, and basically here it is. Over the last 50 years, they said they did some many studies. The only unchanging correlation emerging from the literature was the high stature, like they were tall. While other physical abnormalities do not clearly relate with the extra Y. So there was nothing really else, but most of them were pretty tall.
So NBA players.
Well,
watch out.
Writing skills, learning disabilities. Let me see. Frequent intellectual deficit, delays in speech and language, poor writing skills, learning disabilities, and social emotional problem. Despite several studies, a direct relationship between XYY problems, genetic character, and deviant behavior has never been statistically proven. So basically, they didn't prove that. And
Okay.
yeah, so that was that part. This part, no, that's the wrong one. Nope. Let me see. Oh, did I not take the picture of this one? Oh, nah. I missed this one page. But anyway.
I mean, does that explain these rash of NBA players carrying purses? That was just
we got another show that goes into that. He does explain that. There is science behind that. But right now, this is not. That'll be a whole.
Show.
Yeah, that's a big deal. But we want to, I just want to go into how they're using mind fixing. Edward Goodwin. Now, I did a show on this guy, Edward Goodwin, and that's one of my first shows. If you go early into this YouTube page, you'll see some of that. You'll see, this Edward Goodwin guy. He did some stuff in 1984. So this is to us, to our generations. And we're dealing with these people. These are people that you don't know. This is high level science that goes into the behavior that we're seeing on the streets now. And these are people who have budgets. In 1984, John Franklin, science writer, the Baltimore Evening Sun, wrote a 7-day series called The Mind Fixers, for which he later won a Pulitzer. Now, keep in mind, the way the white people think that you should act is not the way that normal black people act. But they have an idea of how you supposed to act, Leroy. And so to them, if you're not acting the way they think you should act, something wrong. They're going to fix your mind. And so give them a budget and give them a mental institution. Okay? And give them access to hundreds and thousands of black boys and kids.
And pharmaceuticals to, quote, treat them with.
Right. So the intent of this series was to herald a scientific breakthrough. He's called molecular psychology, the ability to readily create powerful new chemicals capable of literally changing the mind. Okay, you see, like I said, they're focusing on your mind. This is 84. Okay. So the objective is nothing less than mind control, therapeutic kind. He proclaimed ahead lies an era of psychic engineering. See? Psychic engineering. Okay. And the development of specialized drugs, therapies to heal sick minds. Okay. Mind fixers. We got receipts down at the bottom if people really want to go into that. Y'all can go. I got some more receipts, like I said, on this YouTube channel at the beginning. But this psychic engineering. So Dr. Frederick Goodwin, chief scientist at the National Institute of Mental Health. So he's of great importance. So, I'm just going through some of this stuff real quick for people, but these are the things, the super predators. These are the people who are super predators. They are making you. And let me go through this one real quick. See, so when we're walking around and see, we see Future, we see NBA Young Thug, we see Weezy, Lil Wayne. Okay, the creation of the deadhead, drugs and social controlling the black man. These are like I said, this is social pharmacology. This is science. This right here is boring to us. This right here is boring. Now, how did it become boring?
Wow. Not defining words.
Yeah, and then you're programmed to shut down. It's almost like if you look at RoboCop, when he really about to take care of a real criminal that's in control of the company that owns him, what happens?
Oh, he went ham.
Yeah, you can't. His electronics shut down.
Yeah, couldn't compute.
Yeah, you're not allowed to shoot me. Remember, I got a red.
Oh
tag.
yeah.
You seen that movie RoboCop, the updated one?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can look at I mean, it's many movies where that plays out, but yeah, I'm familiar. But
Right
at some point, you know, those remains of the human part activate and override the machinery. But you know, now we're moving into a time with
movie.
that's it right there, Neuralink.
Right.
We're moving into a time now where go ahead.
No, I was saying, how does that factor into accountability? See, when people talk about accountability, and you got the conservative people are talking about as if everybody is all there, you know, everybody's okay, everybody's all there. Do you know, you don't know what has been happening to people?
Yeah, because we certainly can't be naive to think that just because we're hearing about Neuralink now that testing hasn't been taking place, whether here or elsewhere already.
Dude, I'm just showing you. This is Neuralink right here.
Oh, and that's from a pharmacology and a mental standpoint.
Look, hold on. This is
You know,
Neuralink. Look at this. I mean, I'm just showing. Hold on. I'm trying to get to it real quick.
In that search have agreed to talk about it for the first time.
Look at this. This here is Neuralink. It's almost went up.
One said, I think every last one of us felt sorry to attempt this kind of thing. We knew we were crossing the line. The search would be endless. From brothels, an agent says, we learned a lot about human nature in the bedroom, to the mystical rites of a magical mushroom ceremony performed by an Indian shaman.
Psilocybin.
This is Neuralink. That's Neuralink.
The bullets had electrodes implanted in the brain.
There you go. So you telling me that's testing right there on camera, 1979. A lot of times we don't connect these dots. When you see something like this on TV, they have been doing this a long time. And then when you see this, they're getting you used to it because they're ready for you. They're ready for you now. So they have gone through many people already to get ready for you. So they're ready for you. That's what.
Oh yeah, because they're breaking down their minds, so some will be willing to accept, you know, the physical aspect of it. Not that, you know, the pharmacology part isn't a physical part because we're talking about the use of drugs, but
right.
the mental aspect where they do it with we'll call it a mini therapy sessions where it's just a matter of breaking someone down mentally.
Right.
Which is different from pharmacology, and both are different from, you know, I guess we could say this is the last step with Neuralink and them inserting a chip in the brain, which, you know, it is well, two of those are in effect now. When you look at what we're talking about right now in this way, when you look at Neuralink, and we know who's behind it, Elon Musk, he just bought Twitter. And, you know, there are people who are Republicans or conservatives, and there may be some Democrats too, who believe that, okay, now that Elon Musk is in charge of Twitter, you know, now free speech is back. You know, if Twitter is great, all of a sudden, Twitter is great again. Look at that. But when you look at Elon Musk and you realize that he wants to put a chip in your brain, that part escapes some of those people. And it's like, well, how do you look at Twitter in this way when you realize that Elon Musk wants to, you know, hook you up with a quarter-sized chip in your brain? How do you not make that connection and move away from that?
Hold on. Elon Musk is not the only one. He's just decided.
Oh no, he's not.
But look at what we're looking at. We're looking at a bull back in 1960 or something with a chip in his head. This guy right here was funded. Jose Manuel Rodriguez Delgado. He is the guy that did this with this bull. And they were expressly doing testing to try to implement it into people. So this is a government-funded study that they've been on for decades. This right here is over 40 years ago. And on this particular program, they said this is a 30-year. So it was 30 years at least before this came on that they've been working on this. So 70 years they've been working on this stuff. So this is their thing. They want to control every person with either chemicals or electronics.
Yeah, circuitry.
This is something that they're not letting go. It's 70 years now.
Absolutely not.
So
absolutely not that they not letting it go.
When you start seeing the tranny thing and you start seeing all of this stuff, these altered people, mixing people's genetics, and we start seeing these other genetic agendas here. Okay, so now that's why you see I'm sounding real crazy on certain sections, because I ain't even, to me, I'm so clear about the Democrats and Republicans, the stuff that I don't even, that stuff, it literally, look, it does not faze me. I hear them both talking. That's the same thing to me, literally. And then that's why I show Phil, because Phil, he looked like he get it on the way that I get it. All of that stuff, that right there, that's a level. I mean, and it's a very important level to be on. But once you understand that these both are working at the same, for the same play, they're funneling the people. They're trying to get the people to argue, and then they'll funnel you into the same game. Because, and then the bottom line is, they still get to extract the resources from you because you're putting them in control. That's what's happening. And then, of course, they won't do anything for you that you expect. And it's the same old game. No. Yeah, and they get to run the same cycle over and over again. But when you start understanding the whole get down and how they're running the resources, then you start really putting the pressure where the pressure need to be, and start training and teaching the people, look, this is how you can tell and we can see what they're doing. This is how we know we're more correct. When I say right, I'm very careful with that word right. And what I mean by the word right is on this level.
Outright.
No, this level, when I'm saying right in this context, I'm talking about, okay, in mathematics. Okay, I expect a certain behavior. I'm trying to predict behavior of these people. And when I say these people, I'm talking about the people who are actually controlling and using the resources that we need. Because that's really what this thing is about. It's about resource control. Who is controlling the food? Who's controlling the stuff that's needed and required for human survival? Who has that stuff under their control? Because once you're the ones, if you're people who think like you have it under control, there's no arguments, there's no protesting, none of that needs to happen. Because, y'all agree and the resources are under the right group's control. But right now, the actual resources are under the control of folks who obviously they don't want you to have control. They want to keep you in a rat race. They want society to be ran by robots, and they got these weird agendas. They're bringing drugs in, and it's just crazy. It's literally insane. But this is where we live in. It's literally insane. But this is the system that we live under. And it's like people don't, well, what are we gonna do? And we sitting up here arguing about, and I understand it's very important. That's why I said before, something like the city bike thing, I'll be like, bro, this is so dumb. But guess what? That's because, but events like that, it helps to expose people, a lot of people, to the problem, the underlying issue. And that's why I said before, you don't change behavior by just showing facts and figures. Like, it's things that, it's certain little key things. You never know what it is for this person or for that person, that person has to see. And they said,
Yes.
damn, it's something.
Go
ahead.
It's almost, I kind of describe it as this, even though you're seeing a reflection, I describe it as, I'm holding a mirror up to a person. Not that for them to see themselves, but for them to legitimately see what is happening. And I give you an example. You look at January 6th, and there were some people prosecuted behind it, right?
Right.
And they're white. And so now, and this not a mass awakening for all of them, but some of them do understand now that, well, hold on, man, this not justice. We didn't go there for that, but yet we're getting prosecuted as if we're domestic terrorists, or I'm just throwing out that term. As a matter of fact, one group, some of the Proud Boys were convicted of seditious conspiracy. Now, there's one term that means both those terms, and it's called treason. And the punishment for treason is death. Well, they're not going to put these people to the end of the sword. But the reason I bring it up is because I've spoken to, typed out online in order to get people on that side to see, after I describe it accurately and I lay it out in very clear terms, and none of it is belligerent, that you clearly see now that it's a two-tier justice system. Do you now understand what Black people have been saying for over 200 years at this point? That it's not an equal playing field. And one individual that was white that I was talking to, all he could say was, he said, damn, you're right. Because I had to break it down and show it to him in something that he saw clearly, that, that's not on the up and up. You shouldn't go to a protest and be labeled an insurrectionist and prosecuted, and you're an old woman with cancer and you was just there. You didn't even go inside the Capitol. And I'm just kind of describing that offhand. Those might not be all the accurate per person instances, but I'm looking at the sum and not the whole. But right. When they are being prosecuted and it's on grounds that aren't valid, well, how long have we been saying that?
Right.
Meaning Black people, how long have we been saying that, period? That, where these drugs been put in our neighborhood. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Oh, but now you see how a conspiracy can be turned on you.
Right. Let me show this there real quick. Now, these people are part of this conspiracy, and they knew this science and history.
My cable.
The fourth challenge is to take back our streets from crime, gangs, and drugs. And we have actually been making progress on this count as a nation because of what local law enforcement officials are doing, because of what citizens and neighborhood patrols are doing. We're making some progress. Much of it is related to an initiative called community policing, because we have finally gotten more police officers on the street. That was one of the goals that the president had when he pushed the crime bill that was passed in 1994. He promised 100,000 police. We're moving in that direction, but we can see it already makes a difference, because if we have more police interacting with people, having them on the streets, we can prevent crimes. We can prevent petty crimes from turning into something worse. But we also have to have an organized effort against gangs, just as in a previous generation we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. And the president has asked the FBI to launch a very concerted effort against gangs everywhere. In addition to that, he has appointed a new drug czar. You probably saw him Tuesday night. He's one of the most distinguished active military generals that we have in our country. He's already proven that he knows how to interdict drugs because of his command of the South American activity on behalf of the United States.
Now, if you know the history behind this stuff, the stuff that she's saying, we know that they knew. Okay, so this is a war on the black people. Because what they found, now they got us saying the same thing. More. It doesn't matter what administration. It's always more police.
Yes.
Why? Because they've used the CIA. Now, see, at that time we didn't know for sure, but we were suspecting in the black community. But now we know for sure they are the ones that came up with the crack, and then they use the CIA to spread it in the neighborhoods. We know this now. It's been admitted and all that kind of stuff. So, but at that time we didn't know. But then she used a general who had activity in South America is where they got the supply for the crack.
Yes.
They funded these Contras and they funded all of these terrorist organizations down there in South America to kill these people, to destabilize them from where they actually lived. and now they're in Lawns, basically they're running up here.
Hey, would it be accurate to say that she described herself?
Well, the thing is, no. I mean, the thing is, she's describing something. She's like, they're no longer gangs of kids. They're trying to pretend like these folks, you know, that super predators, and these are black people. Okay, keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, I understand who she's describing and trying to put it on, but by her actions and the person who is the current president, we know the words she just used describes her. It describes her husband. Yeah,
all of them. But this is why I'm saying, that's why I'm showing some of this stuff, because this is the stuff that's behind the stuff. So when these people are saying stuff, this is where this money is going to make these agendas happen. And then during that period of time, the people are talking about, oh yeah, we're good and we need to take back the streets and all that kind of stuff. And we're making progress. We're putting them in jail for 40 and 50 years and 30 and 100 years and stuff like that. But we're the ones, we're not telling you, we're the ones creating the crack and we're creating the drugs, and we're actually creating
the environment. Yeah, creating the environment. Yep.
Money from them. We're restricting money from their communities, so that they're people who are not going to see. That's one of the things that they have written. I don't have it offhand, but I'll probably show it one of these days. But they have it written where the benefit of putting drugs in the neighborhood is control. It's not just for the people who actually take the drugs, because once they put that drug in your neighborhood and they demonize that drug, they get to control everybody in that neighborhood. Yeah. Not only the ones who take the drugs, but now I get to put more police in you. There's a good excuse now to put more police in your neighborhoods.
DC-6. Yep.
Now you got an army there. Oh, we need this army there. Why is this army here? Oh, it's for the.
We need it. Look, we need to come in and take homes. We need to come in with gentrification and make this area better.
Not only that,
after we've destroyed it.
Not only that, to straight get some more slaves in jail, because we need more workers for 20 cents a day. Okay, we We got
This
some
is
more
absolutely disgusting.
McDonald's fries to create. We got some more Boeing propellers and escape hatches to assemble for $1.
Yeah, what you say? They moved on from license plates to bigger and better things.
Right. Kamala Harris got to have some more people to take out the trash and sweep the floor and fight the fires in California for one a day. So,
but yet, our same people ignored all of that, and I'm speaking more specifically to the 94 crime bill. They ignored all of that, walked right into a booth. And by me saying this is not me saying choose the other side. So I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to whoever's listening. So please don't take what I'm saying to mean that. They walked right into a voting booth and chose the current guy who was the author of the 94 crime bill. And it's like, that? I mean, I know you didn't. I know I didn't.
I'm saying, what kind of people did that?
Yeah, those who have taken that divergent lane versus the one that shows you, I can't pick this guy. I might not pick anybody else, but what I'm certainly not going to do is pick him or her.
Exactly. So my point is, though, and I'm about to end it off, but we're going to end it off with a few things that's solutions. And then we'll try to end this off because we have kind of went a little far. And I don't want it to go to 3 hours because people see 3 out there and I ain't watching that.
Yeah. And that's part of the plan too, though. That's why TikTok is so short to shorten people's attention span and to dumb you down. That's why they gave us smartphones, so we'll no longer be smart.
Exactly.
We'll be dependent on what we're being told, and you won't think for yourself.
Exactly. So the super predator. This is the super predator myth. We see that's kind of where it started. Way back in the 60s, it was really over on white men. Make a long story short, they twisted it around, and here she started putting the super predator thing on black kids. Like I said before, they started looking at genetics so that they could try to demonize. They start demonizing the actual children. Okay, they paid these people. This is one of the guys who was experimenting on people under Reagan. So this guy, he was getting funding from Ronald Reagan as governor of California. And social pharmacology paradigm grew out of West's ecological model for his students at UCLA. His involvement with what we have called Operation Ferdinand. And Ferdinand is that little cartoon bull that was mean sometimes, but then it just wanted to smell the flowers all day. I don't know if you remember that.
That's going back.
It's behavioral control project. Okay, so that's kind of where that's from, and these are just stuff that you're never gonna really hear about too much. But let me get into this solution. So back in the day. And of course, it was hard to understand. Malcolm X and Bayard Rustin had this. Malcolm X and Bayard Rustin had a little debate. This is the solution. This is the which way should Black America go? Okay, and now at the end of the day, we went to the way of Bayard Rustin. We didn't go the way Malcolm X said go. But let's listen to it nowadays and see what was going on. Let's see what this.
Now, you said a great deal about nonviolence, which we should get into, and you've implied a certain number of economic things. But I have to get first your basic position clear in my mind. Otherwise, I don't think the rest of the discussion can be meaningful. You have to answer for me clearly the question as to whether what you ultimately have to see as a logical position is leaving the United States. If, for the next 200 years, Negroes are not going to be citizens by your definition, why isn't it logical then for your leader to say, let us find a piece of territory somewhere and go to it? Because Either you are advocating the continuation of slavery, if that isn't logical, because you say you can't get it by the methods which I am advocating, which is the slow, grinding process of integration. Now, I want to know where you stand on that, because I can't see other things clearly unless I see this.
I'll try and make it as clear as I can. If by integration, we believe that integration is hypocrisy. If you were going to use the word brotherhood, that's another thing. We don't believe in integration, but we do believe in brotherhood. Integration.
But do you believe brotherhood is possible here?
If any time, sir, you have to pass a law that will make the white man accept you into his society, that's not brotherhood, that's hypocrisy. If a man holds a gun on you to make you put your arm around me and pretend that you love me, that's not brotherhood, that's hypocrisy. Right. And if America, if this country has to pass laws to make the white people accept us into their educational system, and has to pass laws to make the white people accept us into their into better housing in their neighborhoods, then what that is, that's the government is holding a gun on the white man and making him pretend that he wants you and me to sit beside him. That is hypocrisy. The government is forcing the white man in America to become a race of hypocrites. Now, if the white man, with no laws passed whatsoever, would accept the black man into his school, would accept the black man into his neighborhood, would accept the black man into his social system, economic system, and political system without laws having to be passed, then we would go for that. We would say that that's brotherhood, that's voluntarily,
Do you
and
think
it
that's
will work.
going to happen?
Why, your common sense tells you, sir, that it's...
Now listen. Now keep in mind, this happened. He said, why your common sense tells you. Keep in mind, this happened. This happened. How long? Okay, so what is this? 23, 1960, 60 something years ago.
3 years, yeah.
It was like 65. So it's probably like almost 59, because I think this was like maybe 62, 63. I don't know. Anyway, but this is the conversation. So this same point, this is a cycle of history. We've seen this. Okay, so when we saying that people think that sometimes you're talking racist, but this is what I mean by right. This is like you can predict behavior because you're seeing something. It's something real because it keeps happening. You can predict when it's going to happen. It's happening in cycles. These particular group of people do not want you. So the only reason why they act nice, right, is because we're going to get them fired from their job. They don't want to be a Karen, right? Because we holding the gun up their head. That's the only way that's what we've been told that we had to do to integrate. We're forcing, it's like you got to force them to do something that they don't want to do. They don't want to do it. So what Malcolm X was saying, and that's what we're saying today, that's your solution. Now, nobody wanted to do it, okay, because, they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to say, let's do this. But the solution is actually to do something. You got to have your own, just like the Native Americans got. Now, everybody don't have to live there, but it's just the black folks got to have something that they control. And now, of course, everybody wants to say, oh, black folks can't control nothing, but that's not true because they know every time we got something on our own, we got many towns, we have many situations. Once we get used to having our stuff our way, we don't want to change to be under control of somebody else. So just because we're under control of somebody else now, we're used to that. So we feel like we don't want to be under control of ourselves. But the bottom line is we know how to run things. But right now, the folks who have control of the resources that's required for us to live are those folks that are, you know, running the show, and they're not running it really good. And that's the issue. And it's not about hating them. It's about the fact that these folks, they're not really doing a good job at running the society. Okay. And they can talk all this stuff that they want to, how supreme they are. But the bottom line is, if they're so supreme, okay, let us do it our way. Give us literally control. So we're not talking about just go somewhere on your own and get isolated. No. Outlet to the sea. We got control of the area. Some white people can live there, but they're going to live under our rulership, under our control. I mean, we're going to have the same stuff. We're still going to be American citizens, but it's just going to be this our zone. This is our zone. Okay. And ain't going to be no, it's just like the hypocrisy that these guys like Rashard Ritchie and what's this other dude's name that
Robert Patillo.
Yeah, Patillo and these other people, these Congress people, these people got to get paid to get elected because the people don't even like them.
You talking about the CBC, Congressional Black Caucus?
Yeah, the people don't even like them, but they're being paid. So they got to get out of our business. Let the people actually put real and authentic leadership in the spot. And then from there, the natural problems that we come up with, which will, of course, every group has natural problems. We work those things out. We figure out our own solutions. And then we deal with them on the national level, you know, as equals. That's how you deal with them, because you can't deal with people who have control of all the resources as an equal just because you say you're equal. You don't got control of nothing.
Look, more than just because you say you're equal, because the law has told them to do so. Because I think that's what the point Malcolm was making most, that, you know, if the law has to tell you to do it, it's not coming from you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why he said that it's not, it's hypocrisy and not brotherhood, two different things. But Bayard started off wrong when he said that you have to make it clear to me in my mind when, I mean, Malcolm, I mean, he started out, he said, let me see if I can explain what he said more clearly. Like, dude, I already told you, you just not receiving.
No. That was fair. I think Bayard Rustin, that was fair for him to say. That was a good thing for Malcolm.
I mean, is it? I mean, hold on, Mike. Is it? Because remember what you said that if we look at it, it seems when we look at it, we have as a group followed the Bayard Rustin plan, and that hasn't worked. I mean, from a very, very young lad, I understood that, you know, integration, you know, when you start learning about history, you start learning these things, and it's like, well, why did we integrate?
Well, you realize here, though, okay, so I'm also thinking about the 60s. They don't have a recording like we have to look at in 60 years of actual documented history to see, to compare with. So from their vantage point, I mean, he's being totally authentic in his mind. He believes, to him, this is natural. Like when somebody comes to you with something different, a different plan, oh, you're gonna question it. You're supposed to. I don't have that problem with him. To me, that question was very sincere. I'll say it that way. I don't think he was being smart, Alec, or
snarky.
He wasn't being. He was literally trying to understand, which is that's the kind of question you want. You know, you got to make understand. He was trying to actually understand the logic. If you listen to how he set that up, I think that was a good little set up question, but you know, everybody figure it out.
I mean, as he went on, it appeared that way, but I mean, from the outset, from my viewpoint, it did not come across as genuine at all. Because for Malcolm to follow up and say, you know, basically, let me see if I can make it more clear for you. That to me, that tells me the part that, you know, you might not have on this video, but that tells me that he said initially what it was and he didn't get it. So now you're saying, well, you know, break it down for me again. Well, dude, I did just tell you. What part did you miss? Granted, to Malcolm's credit, he did not go down that road and, you know, become snarky himself. But it's like, dude, I just told you. What are you talking about?
Well,
much like Rashad, you know, say that again. And I said, what? You heard me the first time. Yeah, I was being snarky, but it's like, dude, I told you. So let's not pretend.
Right. But you got to realize, too, in this time, they were a little bit more honest in their conversation than we are now. We're a little bit more slick talking nowadays. They were slick talking, too, but they were literally a little bit more academic because, it just was a little bit more, a smaller bit more civilized conversation at those times than it is now. You got a lot of cussing and slick talk we do on a regular nowadays. These are academics. So let's finish this answer, though. Let's listen to some more of this here.
Then we would go for that. We would say that that's brotherhood, that's voluntarily,
Do you
and
think
it
that's
will work.
going to happen?
Why, your common sense tells you, sir, that it's not going to happen.
Then, if you cannot do this through the constitutional methods of going into courts, of having laws, which I call integration, and if you cannot do it by the spirit, which you call brotherhood, then what do you see as the future for black people here, and why should they stay?
Sir, the future for the black man in America, as we've been taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, since you can see, and any intelligent person can see, that the white man is just not going to share his wealth with his ex-slave, or share his house with his ex-slave, or share his fields with his ex-slave, if the slave keeps pressing him. Sooner or later, there has to be a showdown. If the white man, the slave master, does not want the ex-slave in his house, then he has to let that slave go for himself and find a house for himself. Now, Mr. Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, our leader and teacher, teaches us this, that God has taught him that the only solution for the slave and the slave master is separation.
Ah, so then you do believe in separation.
We absolutely believe in separation.
Right.
We believe that.
Now listen to this part real carefully, because they are gonna get biblical. See, guys. Anyway, really listen and just think about this, and don't get confused by, you know, Muslim thing, because I mean, this stuff really, I know we get into that, but we got to understand that a lot of this stuff is called different things, but it really is talking about the same group. And these group is what they call a mixed multitude. So you're going to be calling yourself different things, but y'all are the same stuff, really. That's how, you know. So now listen to this answer, because he went there. Because Bayard is logically questioning him, because he's thought about the logic of Malcolm. He already knows what Malcolm's solution is, but what he's doing, he's questioning him such questions that lead him to a certain place to then ask the question that he really been wanting to ask. So he already know these answers that Malcolm gonna give, but he just doing this on camera, on tape.
Separation is divine.
Right. Now, if there is to be divine separation, are you people being logical? Are you saying then we ought to take over, let us say, an area of the United States which is predominantly Negro and send more and more in until we control it? Or are you being logical by saying, let's get outside of here?
I think both is logical. It's logical when you find that you can't get along with a man in peace to set up house somewhere else. Now, when we say that, when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that God has declared that the black man in America must have some land of his own, that means he must have some land of his own. The land doesn't have to be in Asia. The land doesn't have to be in Africa. The land doesn't have to be in Canada. The land can be anywhere. And if right here in America, since, as you say, we've been such good workers and faithful citizens, I'd rather say faithful servants, right. We haven't received any payment for our labor. It would only be just if the master, if his intention is good, since he knows he's not going to bring about this integration, the best thing for him to do is let us have some of these states. And we can go into these states, instead of begging him to live next door to him, we can go into these states and set up farms and feed our own people, set up factories and manufacture clothing and other utilities for our own people, set up businesses where we can make jobs for our own people. And this will keep us from having to beg him for that which he has set up for his people.
Right. In other words, then, Daily News is right in describing your movement as being an apartheid movement. They compared you to South Africa, where they say the whites should be in one place, the Negroes in another. It seems to me that what you're saying is pretty much the same thing.
No, sir. We...
So he started going funny style. But
yes, very.
So, but the
and hey, look, Mike, and you know that I'm not a Muslim, but Bayard is, dude, he is completely trying to distort what Malcolm is saying. Well, Malcolm is talking about separating, and he's not talking about separating because I don't like you because you're white. It's based on the actions that have taken place.
Right.
And but Bayard, hold on, Bayard is trying to act like the only way you can remedy that is by going through the courts.
Well, that's what he
in
believes.
The court.
He believes that.
Well,
and that's why we was talking about earlier about right and wrong. See, sometimes you're at the level, and see, this is what I mean by some of this stuff. We gotta have because some of this stuff, these big giant problems that we're dealing with as a group, it's going to take time, and so some of this stuff you can't really get super. It's hard for me to get super mad because I see. Because the way I've been shown it, and I believe it's a process, and we're going to have at any given moment, some of us are going to take this position, some of us are going to take this other position. And if you look at prophecy, both groups end up going with Moses. I don't know if you remember, but a lot of them was murmuring in the desert. So that means that, so some of the people that was against Moses and talking stuff, when he ended up being right, and they realized, like, damn, shit, Pharaoh gonna kill us all. Let's go. Okay, Moses. So you said stuff you said right. Tell us what your God gonna do now. So they end up going with him. So that's what I mean. Like, this is what we're dealing with, and even in this exchange, the Moses thing comes up. I thought that was it, but it wasn't at that point.
But look at what you said, Mike. Remember, you said that they were murmuring, right? Some of them were murmuring. Okay. Well, what did we talk about on the last live? Well, no, it was when you and I were just having a conversation, and I said what? Some of these people need to be moved off the board. Completely moved off the board. And I don't mean it necessarily in a violent way, but when we go back to Moses, some of those people were moved off the board because Lord had them walk around in the wilderness for 40 years till some of them dropped dead.
And they did this, they said that on here. So hold on a second.
I don't feel that the Daily News is qualified to classify us as anything, or compare us with any South African philosophy, because number one, the people in South Africa are some people his because he took it from the Indians, and he can't object to us because he brought us here. We didn't come here on our own. We didn't come here voluntarily. He put us in chains and brought us here, and then worked us for nothing for 310 years without paying us one day's labor. Now, I would like to point this out, Mr. Rustin. If you have 100 people who work for you for nothing for a week, you haven't us anything. They worked our mothers and fathers for 310 years with no pay. The Senate, the Congress, and the U.S. Supreme Court
given over, and because Negroes have worked for it and deserve it, and that should be their territory. That this is your solution to the problem.
Only solution is separation.
Separation.
Not integration.
Now that we've got that clear, it seems to me we can go back and build on that for me to raise some other questions with you. Now, how do you see the Negro now, and I'm all in favor, you see, of doing away with dope and alcohol and profanity and the like. This is all to the good. But whether you like it or not, this is no answer to the ultimate problem which you face. Now, given the fact that Moses kept the children of Israel in the desert for 40 years in order to do away with their slave mentality and to build up a new leadership, he also had to know precisely where he was going to take them. He had to have a piece of land. Now, you want a piece of land here. Isn't there some inconsistency with your economic policy then in this regard? Because
yeah, that's where I wanted to go.
Okay, I mean, but did you hear him say the problem when Bayard Rustin said to Malcolm, the problem you face, as if Bayard is some separate entity from us? And this goes to a conversation I had with Charles, older gentleman I know yesterday. He's 70-some years old, black guy. He said that I asked him, so you saw our community with all the hell and lynchings and everything else that was going on. You saw our community together, and you see what it is now. What changed? Where did it flip? He told me that when they got us to view ourselves as individuals instead of a group, that's when they won. That's when they won. And sitting here listening to Bayard Rustin say, the problem you faced, Malcolm, as if he doesn't face the same issues, but then he tried to couch it and try and act as if it's all cozy, because he said that, I'm with the no drugs and no alcohol and all those things. Well, all those things is your lifestyle as well, Bayard, but you didn't include that, did you? Did he? He didn't. No. But go ahead. I didn't want to interject with that.
No. But also, too, you see how he was talking. He used from their point, they had to reference Moses. Same thing we were talking about. And the reason why you reference Moses to us, why do we do that? It's natural, ain't it? Because aren't we in a very similar situation here?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. And those people, look, and those people, guess what? Look just like us.
Right. You think that's an accident?
Oh, absolutely not.
I didn't know it. And so when we talking about this stuff, this is why we're saying that that's why I don't even worry. That's why I don't get too flustered by certain, because all of these people have to come up, these magicians, all of this stuff here, this is a pattern. It's just like we looking back and looking at Malcolm and them talking, and it was like, dang, that's very similar to nowadays, right? Well, I guarantee you, if it was a YouTube or video camera way back in Moses' time, we'd be like, damn, they said the same thing. It's like Kamala Harris. Oh, that's Obama. We would see those type of similarities again, because that's why I'm saying this is human nature and human behavior, and this is the patterns that we're in, and that's why God had already told you how it's going to end up. So you just need to be on the right spot. You just need to be in the right position, you know, you see the winners and the losers there. Just make sure you in the winner spot, and then you'll be fine. So because it's already set up. It's already set up. So that's the reason why. But it's going to take time because that's how these things roll. It's rolling in, you know, and all certain arguments have to happen because you're dealing with millions of people. And so, you know, and God knows who he wants to save, what genes he wants to leave back. So, you know, I mean, I don't get too frustrated, but
it's deeper than genes.
Well, genes are pretty deep though, but
they are. But the reason I say it's deeper than genes is because you can have the mindset you have, Mike, but that you and your siblings share the same genes. And you know what? I just use myself. Me and my siblings have the same genes, but I'm dealing with a situation now where we see things completely different. And yeah, you could say I'm saying I'm right because I believe I'm right, but I have evidence to show them of what is happening that they don't want to partake of, even though it will benefit them as well as myself. Because one sibling said to me, well, I don't want to do that, and it's a decision I can make. Well, what the hell is that? That's not even a reason. You're not even basing it on an actual reason where you can provide substance to back your position. It's just because I don't want to.
But I'm telling you that there's something there is a reason. It's just not an obvious reason. And that's the thing that, you know, when you're trying to facilitate a situation, those unsaid realities are important. Stuff that a lot of times we think that's not important, and people can just change it. Those are issues, and that's what I meant by the heart. There's a lot of times facts and figures, numbers do not change behaviors. Okay, there's realities and experiences and changes and things that changes the heartstrings. A lot of people move by feeling. Okay, and that's the reason why, like I said before, when you start going into some of this here, on real human behavior, then you'll start to see like, oh, okay. Then stuff will start to make sense, because what it is it's just a problem that needs to be solved. And if it's not happening the way that you expect it to happen, if something's not adding up, that means you're missing some variables. And be like, oh, okay, they it's just something, these people thinking that they're under control, they don't want to be under control, somebody taught them something. But the point is when I say of genes though, there's certain groups and people that God will preserve, even though, you know, because he just want their children. So that's why, like, those old people, he didn't murder those ones that were full of nothing, the children of Israel. He let those murmuring. He let them die out, right? Because he didn't want them to enter the land. But their children, so their genes, he wanted their children because they were made of the material, the genetic material that he wanted. But those old ones still had the mind that he wanted to let die out. So that's what I mean by he knows what genes he wants, because there's certain stuff can happen anytime that God won't. But he's like, you know, that's why abortion and all that stuff. No, that's what innocent blood slain. No, God hates that, because, you know, he's got a purpose, and, you know, he doesn't want us to kill the fruit. You know, he's doing all this stuff and going through all these experiences. He's you know, in the way that we are made, the way that we are designed, we don't understand that pressure and the conflict that we endure, it imprints on our life, and it affects the way. What's up? BMT said, "Quit calling out that massa." Yeah, but but the point is all of that stuff. It affects the way that the people are going on into the future. So that's a big part of it too. So it is the idea and the mindset, but he wants to mix those. I think this is what I'm believing, because I don't want to, claim like I know what God's trying to do. You know what I mean? Like that's when you messing up, because people think they know, don't. You talking about God, the supreme being and stuff. But just from what I'm looking at, it looks like to me that the mindset and the lineage is important to him. So that's why he's talking about tribes. That's why he goes into genealogy. But then it also talks about, the right thinking and all that kind of thing. As a man thinketh, so is he. Those sorts of things. So it's looks like it's both has some degree of importance, and so that's kind of where I'm at. Well, we about to end it off anyway, though. But I just wanted to get that on there, and Malcolm goes in because Bayard he served Malcolm. That's right down. He went to the children of Israel, and that's Malcolm. He really gonna get him after that. But I don't really. We already got the point. The point was the argument was had, over 60 years ago. The solution, same thing we acted now, are you going to take over some area and seek to control it when you get your reparations and run it? I mean, that means you got the tax base, you elect who you want to elect. You don't have to ask for nobody, give you no money to run your elections, to run your business. You got your farmland, you got your places. If some white people want to stay there, they're Americans, they can stay there, but they got to follow our rules, right? And, so they, if some of us is not living there, we still, they better treat us right. Otherwise, they got 8 states of black folks to deal with.
That's the point.
And we go vote. And we control the National Guard. We got the police. We got the mineral rights, and we make the decisions on the school systems. So that's a solution. That's a real solution, because you got these groups of people don't really respect nothing but some strength. And if you're running around talking about, well, the law says that you have to respect me.
Yeah, you can't legislate the heart.
And that's what Malcolm is saying, and that's the debate that we're seeing that same debate happening today. And we're at that inflection point where we're talking about the reparations. We're gonna get it. See, this is what black folks don't understand. That's why, like Bayard Rustin, he's talking about, he thinks it's just illogical to believe, that black folks can get a few area and control it. And a lot of us think that nowadays. We think that it's just crazy.
I don't think that it's crazy, but it has to come with monetary considerations as well. It can't just be land. You got to fork over some dollars, and lots of them.
Oh yeah. It's a negotiation. This is the reason why Malcolm was vague there. He was saying this is a solution. He's talking to white people when he's talking to Bayard Rustin here. He said, hey, just so we won't be up there begging you, like right now we always begging them, treat us right, or do this, do that. Please give us money. We're running, and we out there protesting and doing twerking on police cars, and
oh my goodness, yeah, that's gonna flip the script.
But see what the white folks thought. They thought it was a third option. See, Bayard Rustin's option was integration. Malcolm's option was separation, and the white folks looked at that and said, "Hey, They don't know. We got a third option. We're going to kill them all. They thought they would be able to kill us all by now. With this, this is what they thought.
With Margaret Sanger and many other methods. 40 years of Tuskegee experiments.
They literally thought they was gonna kill us. See, we don't want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population. See, but this is the only solution. And they end up just killing themselves because they're the ones got population decline now.
Oh
because
absolutely.
They done poisoned the place up. We some strong people. We got some strong. They done set
very
up here.
Strong constitution.
Yeah, they created all these poisons. They inject right in our arm. Oh yeah, we got them now.
And they still here.
And guess who? Guess who in birth decline?
Yeah. I mean, they having a precipitous fall, definitely.
Yeah,
but
and they feeling it. They feeling it. They thought they was gonna kill us all by now. That's what they thought. And some of them still won't let it go, like Bill Gates. But the bottom line is they're not gonna be able to do that. They need to go ahead and pick these options. Let us go ahead. We already tried the Bayard Rustin option. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. It's an abject failure.
Yeah, and it don't mean that nobody got to hate each other because you can go back to friends once you settled all this stuff. Just go ahead and do the Malcolm. We earned it, We earned it. We've been here. We run this country. We know how to run stuff. We know how to run.
Look, the mere fact that all of us didn't pick up and leave right after slavery, if we had to swim back to Africa, should tell them something. And more than that, when it comes to reparations, if they would just
come from Africa, but
not all of us.
Well, that's what they told us, but that's a whole nother thing. But anyway,
it is.
All right, so end it up for real. This is the real ending. So go ahead and make your final statement, and then this is it.
I keep it short and sweet. I mean, we have to find unity, and this. I would love for it to be based on genes, but I don't see how that works when we have those who simply refuse that, who simply refuse to unify, even when it's self-evident that unification will benefit you. I mean, what you mentioned about, they thought they could kill us, and I'm making it personal for myself that, I have female siblings, and I can't get them on the same page. And at this point, I've given up because, I mean, there's no convincing them. So I'm moving to my own, and trying to bring them along is not my concern anymore. And that may be hard, but I mean, it's the truth. As much as I would love for that to be different, I can't make them see it. No matter how many facts, how many pictures, evidence, whichever words you want to pick, nothing phases.
But guess what?
Some we have to leave behind. Some gonna stay in that wilderness.
Ain't you gonna try to get that? Lot should have got that bundle of salt, right, and picked it up and took it with him. Remember Lot's wife? His own wife.
Well, she wasn't salt yet until she turned around.
There you go. So what did that mean? What did that mean right there?
Yeah, she gonna stay right there.
If he couldn't do it, and he was a whole straight up prophet of God, you ain't gonna get it. Don't matter.
Yeah, so that's why I said it's hard, but that's what it is.
Be worried about family members. I mean, we do the best, and that's it. But it's not. They got a whole destiny with themselves. So, all right, y'all. I'm ending it off with
Stop getting mad at people for lying when you can't handle the truth. That is hard to hear, but it is honest in many situations that we are showing someone that we cannot handle them telling the truth to us. We are showing it through punishing them, through showing that we're upset, giving them the silent treatment, being mean. But if you want people to be honest with you, you will have to learn to withstand honesty. It is hard. It is uncomfortable. But if you're asking a question, be responsible for dealing with your emotional reaction to the answer. But if you want people to be honest, it is so important that you learn how to accept the truth.